Hey, welcome everybody. You're at the HR MacMillan Space Centre. I'm Kris Krüg. Welcome to Vancouver AI Community Meetup number 32 in a row. Yeah. Nice to see you, Armin. You snuck right in there at the end, man. Very good. Hey, Kush, thanks for holding down the registration desk tonight, man, so I could barbecue. It's like my favorite thing to do, so thank you very much for making that happen. Thank you for being here. I'm going to say a bunch of shit tonight, but before we get started, I want to invite my friend and mentor, Anthony Joseph, up here tonight from the Squamish Nation. He's a counselor there. Last month, he came right after doing the World Cup opening ceremonies, drumming in all the players and stuff, came with Johnny. And so tonight's a special night. I don't know. I think I told you, but my best friend, Dave Olson, is in town from Japan. That's why I'm drinking this sake and wearing the kimono. And
I was going to question you about the outfit. I was like, never seen you in a kimono before, but right on.
And he last gave a keynote presentation 13 years ago on this very stage, and now he's back from Japan with his new wife and his son and stuff. And so it's a really special night. There's a lot of people in the room who don't always come to our meetups who are just here to see Dave talk and stuff. So anyway, without further ado, Anthony Joseph.
I love about Kris is the personality, just really brings it together, welcomes everybody, but brings a bunch of special personalities to be a part of this. For those of you who don't know me, Anthony Joseph is my English name. Isalea is my Kushan name, my ancestral name. I share that with my younger brother Russell, my cousin Nigel from my Nanaimo family in Nanaimo. I was just thinking how special it is to be a part of this as well. I always think about all the good work, especially right now, because right now we have a canoe journey, travel journey that's happening. Kris mentioned that when we were talking about the travel journey and just how special that is. So I thought like it's such good medicine to sing the songs, but also the protocols. So I know Kris was, for those that don't know, Kris was our support for our Munmun that went up to the canoe journey in Bella Bella. What year was that, Kris? That was 2014. So yeah, and it was definitely needed because I think like Campbell River, the canoes flipped, and our youth and our team were in the water for a little while, and yeah, and it was that support that's appreciated on the water. So, but our youth that went, some of them came home before the end because it was the last little leg. It was really tough. I remember our youth came back and they really wanted to be a part of the celebration. So I got to tag along. I didn't canoe pole, but I got to be a part of the celebration. And I know my, Chawash Satesop, my work wife, Charlene Williams, who's Johnny Williams' mom. She was always grilling me. Oh, what the hell? I get to tag along, have fun with us, just drum and sing, and I was like, well, they had to ask me to be a part of it, so I was just I'd be honored to. And that was actually, come to think about it, that was when I got to know Kris. It was probably around this time of year as well. So just thankful for that. But to start you guys off in a good way, I'm gonna sing Sisiam's Journey song. What was it? This is a song they would sing. A lot of times the protocol, when they would get to a new village, you'd have to get up and sing. And you would sing a certain X amount of songs. Sometimes it's 3 or 4, maybe more, right, Kris? But, and then they would say, okay, you may, Squamish, you did a good job. You may park your boat and come on in, right? But yeah, so good medicine. So just wanted to share that before we get started. But yeah, so this song comes from Sisiam, who's one of our tribal chiefs. He's our director of territory and culture, Rey Netrero, also known as Kahok. And this is his journey song, Bento Atmos. Oh wait, no, sorry. You know, it's funny. On my way down, I was thinking of a song that's becomes the national anthem, Chief Dan George song, and it's been with me. And, okay, here we go. honored to raise my hand and thank you guys for your patience. You know what kind of got me confuzzled there was I was coming in here and I was I think I was hit by pride to see that when I looked back I could see the 3 towers now, and it just hit me that our people are finally back. Our people have finally returned to where we've always been. So just wanted to share that piece. And, this is the area we know as Sanaa, and it's an important piece for me. I think about just how rich we are in culture, how often our people were on the waters, and just look forward to the good meetings and good energies shared. Thanking Kris for always having an open heart, open mind, but also thank you guys for your patience. I know sometimes as a Yoanite to lead sing, we get a few of those songs crossed because some of them sound familiar when you start. So it's a tempo, right? So, but just so many songs up there I want to share, but it comes down to time. So I thank you guys for your time, your patience, and I hope you guys have an amazing conference, presentations today. I would just share them with a few people that it's their first time. So that's what I shared earlier too, is that look forward to everyone watching, but also learning and listen to the good words and the teachings that are shared, because I always learn something new when I come, and I'm honored to be here and do this good work with Kris.
Thank you.
And everyone else that's part of the team. Get to know everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, man. That was a moment of like profound like strength and beauty in that like vulnerable moment there or whatever. And I went on my own little mental journey. I was like, you do have so many. What's a Yoanite? Not everyone knows what that means.
A Yoanite is a lead singer. So a lot of times you got singers, but Yoanite you got to learn and master the songs, but also the tone, right? So the verses. So it's that's the part when we get emotional. Sometimes it can kind of shift the songs that we had in mind sometimes, and I think that's what it was. Is like I was touched when I came in, just looking back and thinking of our ancestors coming back to. In our ways of being, we're taught in ceremony when we attend wherever we go, we witness work, that when the seats are empty, they're not actually empty. Our ancestors are there, they're watching, they're listening, they're paying attention. But when we speak our language, that shows them that we're doing the good work. We practice ceremony, it shows that we're continuing that good work, that they laid the groundwork for our people, so that those traditions live on and their descendants. So really thankful for that.
That's awesome, man. Hey, I got a couple of quick things to say before you scooch off.
Yeah.
One is like, I'm not surprised that you like couldn't remember the lyrics or whatever at first, because dude, every time you come here, you give us a new song. You share a new song with us. I don't think you've ever done the same one twice. And we've been doing this 32 months. You've probably been here almost half the time. So thank you for like digging deep into the back catalog, like, I really appreciate that. And, I just wanted to say, I guess while we're here, like part of the reason why we do this is like, I felt my energy just completely change from like crazy barbecue guy, host, like organizer person, like to just bring us all onto the same page. And then we get started and we get to kind of go from there or whatever. And so it's a really significant part of all this that you help. Thank you.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah. So we're going to dive right into our community announcements, and then we're going to have AI filmmaker and creative visionary Dorothy Pang give a talk, she's blowing up around the world right now. We're very lucky to have her from Vancouver and in this room and participating. She's showing some new work that nobody's seen before. I'm very excited about tonight. And then we got our buddy Dave Olson, who's here from Okayama, Japan, who's prepared a really special analog from the heart thing. He and I have been working on it for a couple months, and so it's we got some handouts and some giveaways and stuff, and he's got a whole thing. But the reason why we're here is because like 3 years ago, when AI came and kicked over the table of my creative industry and profession in photography and design, I was looking for a place to go figure that out and chat with other people about it and like learn more. I saw the disruption and I was like, wow, this changes everything. There's got to be some new things I can get involved with here. And so I started learning and started a Discord server and started inviting other people into that. And then I moved back to Vancouver after the pandemic, and I was looking to like go to the AI events or plug into an AI community, and there was really nothing going on. The things that were going on were like highly technical, hierarchical, like the programmers group of UBC or whatever, you know, or something like that. And there wasn't like a cross-disciplinary, big tent group of people who were getting together and being like, yo, I'm excited and I'm scared. And both those things are true at the same time. And so that's what we've got going on here. That's what makes this community unique. You'll find people that are critical. They're in the streets doing demonstrations. I did an interview tonight about the data centers that are coming to Vancouver. Obviously, everybody knows about that. The politicians are co-opting the airwaves on that, and we're going to have a very healthy public dialogue during this upcoming election about what do British Columbians want when it comes to AI, about what are we willing to take when it comes to data centers, how much voice and say do we want to have in the future that is manifest here in British Columbia. And so underpinning a lot of this stuff is this BC AI ecosystem nonprofit that we started like a year ago. There's 300 of us are members now. It's an annual membership that gives you discounts and inclusion into our different events and chats and different things like that. But that's really helped us gain some like political power and voice. We had Minister Rick Glumack, the AI Minister of British Columbia, speak last month. Next month, we're in the riding right here of a member of Parliament, Talib Nur Mohammed, who's also, by chance, the Parliamentary Secretary for Innovation in AI, essentially the #2 federal person when it comes to AI. We in this community have a vision for building a West Coast AI Center of Excellence out here, akin to the ones that we find across Canada, been federally funded for like $1 billion, places like the Vector Institute, Mila Institute, and the Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute, AMI. So, you know, we've got momentum as a community. We're finding our voice and our personality and our legs. We've got infrastructure now. And, you know, I'm just going to skip right to my little thing because I've got the flow going, which is out of all this, out of our 3 years of meetups, out of our 12 subgroups, out of our 300 member network, people be coming to us and they're like, yo, Web Summit kind of sucks. And there's some other kind of half-baked AI events going on around town. Why are you guys doing this monthly thing all the time? Why don't you do something more like an annual conference? And I said, you know, that's been my passion for a long time. Before I started these meetups, I was a photographer for like TED Talks and for South by Southwest and for Fashion Week and stuff for many years, and like 20 years, and I developed a strong perspective on what makes events awesome and what I wanted to bring to the people in terms of like, you know, community, intellectual, cultural events that were addressing the most important issues that we're all facing, you know, and I've wanted to do that for a long time, but I didn't have the drumbeat, I didn't have community, we didn't have a nonprofit, and so when people have been coming to me lately being like, you want to do this conference? I'm like, we're ready, we're ready. And so I spent the last couple months building a website, outreaching to international speakers, and you know, I've been announcing them this week. Kevin, can we stumble our way through my slides? Is that cool? Yeah, so Future Proof Festival of AI here in the Space Center, 3 days, October 28th through 30th. The venue's booked. We're good to go. Hit it. You know, like I said, this is the data center issue. It's in all of our faces. I've done like 5 media interviews with the TAI. I did one with Bob Mackin tonight. I did one with some PhD researchers from UBC this week. It's on people's minds. It's on the conversation. And so let's have a talk about that. This is the website I built. Please go check it out. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. There's a lot of depth and detail that I've been building as a foundation for you guys to learn more about what we're getting up to and figure out a way to get involved. I put out a call for speakers. Many of you guys have already submitted, but there's a chance to, the way I envision this is like 50% international speakers and 50% our local speakers. 50% international audience and 50% our local audience. It's a chance to like bubble up the best of what we got and show it off to the world. And it's a chance for me to curate into this community the best of what I see going on out there and bring it here. And speaking of the best of what I see out there and bring it here, Dave Olson, I'm so excited to announce this. Amber Case is our first international out-of-town keynote speaker that I booked. She runs the Calm Technology Institute. This is a major international nonprofit that certifies big products as like human-friendly, calm tech, non-disruptive to the nervous system. But she's got a long background. I used to work for Esri, the Environmental Services Research Institute, the big GIS provider, and she sold a company to Esri back in the day. Before that, her and I used to organize cyborg camps in Seattle and Vancouver, people just exploring the edge and periphery of humanity and stuff. So Amber Case is a badass coming to Vancouver from Denver, Colorado. Who knows who this is? Anna Serrano. Yeah, this is Anna Serrano. She's the chancellor of OCAD, University of Ontario College of Art and Design. She also runs a big conference out east called the Democracy Exchange. She's at the forefront of helping to figure out how federal funds around adoption and upskilling for the creative industries, for the artistic industries, for cultural producers, film, music, this type. She's got the ear of Evan Solomon, the powers that be, and runs OCAD-U. She's gonna be coming out and talking about their perspective on who gets to decide the future of culture as it relates to AI. Who knows who this is? Linda Brown? Linda Brown? Do we got any graduates from the Center of Digital Media here? Anyone go to Center for Digital Media? Anyway, we have a really cool Center for Digital Media here in Vancouver. It's 20 years old. It's a project that was a consortium of UBC, SFU, and Emily Carr, and then funded by the city, province, and the feds. So this lady runs an AI healthcare startup, and she's had several along the way. She's a very successful entrepreneur. But she's my hero and mentor because I was on her board of New Media BC back when DigiBC was New Media BC. So our finance minister, Brenda Bailey, used to run DigiBC, and then DigiBC used to be New Media BC, and when it was New Media BC, Linda ran it, and she got the city to pony up some money. She took that money from the city, and she got the province to match it, and then she took all that money and took it to the feds and got them to put $40 million in the kitty, and that's why we have that whole Great Northern Way campus over there. So you guys know I'm trying to build this West Coast Center of AI excellence. So this lady's gonna come out and talk to us about how we go from grassroots community to building real life infrastructure. Gabriel Zaro. A lot of you guys know him from here. He works for EA as the director of online community for all sports games. This guy runs Discords with 5 million people in them. He knows a lot about AI. He's using it in all sorts of ways, but he's talking about humanity as the operating system, and he's got a really unique TED Talk that I'm excited to have him give here. Antonia, who runs Ethos Labs down the street. Again, this woman is at the forefront of figuring out how Canada's AI money is going to be allocated and distributed when it comes to education and Black and Indigenous youth. She runs a youth center on Main Street. It's amazing. A lot of the people in this room mentor during the AI experimentation lab that they run over there on the weekends for youths. She's amazing. She's super plugged in. She's funded by Microsoft, Sony, and the NBA. And they've got if you haven't heard of Ethos Labs, you should definitely check it out. This is Sarah Downey. She runs our Responsible AI Professional Certification Program. She's a badass when it comes to helping nonprofits figure out AI. And she's gonna be running her Responsible AI Professional Program during our Future Proof Festival. And we're gonna have a little startup zone. We're gonna have what kind of resembles a trade show. So I was on our community call last week, and I was hustling tickets to our closest group of members, and they were like, yo, actually, I wanna do more than that. Can we have a booth and buy a pack? And so Kareem, one of our members, helped me figure out a little startup package. So we're gonna have a little exhibition area for startups that wanna come do their thing. There's a couple, I think there's up to 5 people who've already said they're bringing their robots and their software that runs on robots. So we're gonna have a bit of a embodied AI theme to the whole thing. Cool, so it's gonna be Wednesday night opening, full day Thursday, full day Friday. Kevin's planning a film festival component. Then we're gonna have a wrap-up party here. It's gonna be a banger, and I hope you guys can all come check it out. Next one. So this is the big thing that I'm doing tonight, and this is why I wanted to keep cruising. So I've built the whole website. Got the speakers coming. Everything's in place. And 30 of you guys have already, before I launched, kind of bought a ticket or whatever, right? And that's kind of the wind beneath the wings right now, is early ticket sales. And so to encourage early ticket sales tonight only until midnight, if you buy a ticket, I'll give you 2, so you can bring a friend or a colleague or something like that. If you're one of those 30 people that already bought a ticket, same offer already applies. Hit me up, and I'll give you a second one for a friend. But it's $650 until April 15th, and then it goes to $950. My cost for everyone here is like $350 per person. That's what allows me to do the 2-for-1 and get everyone in the door right away. So this will be like the cheapest. After this, I'm gonna start marketing to outside, like to the rest of the world or whatever. And so so this is what you wanna do if you're gonna come, if you're gonna be a part of this. Hit up the code. If you sign up before midnight, 2-for-1, you can bring a friend and we'll get them all sorted out. Okay, thank you for the sales pitch. I believe it to be important. Up next, we got our community announcements. So that's gonna be Jimmy, and that's gonna be Josh, and that's gonna be Bill McGraw. And if you have a community announcement and I talk to you, now's your time to come up. Jimmy. Bro, I'll do your pitch for you, bro. Oh, we'll give it a palate cleanser. Yeah. Jimmy's got a cool AI conference coming up too, so he's like, don't make me go right after you. Come on up.
I'm one of those half-day conferences.
This is Steve Jones from our Comox Valley AI group. Come on, Steve.
All right, hi everyone. Yeah, so a few months ago, someone in Comox, Lourdes Gant, teamed up with Kris and started a Comox version of this kind of monthly event, and it's super exciting. We've got people coming out of the woodwork. I spend half my year in Comox, half in Vancouver. Sometimes it feels like in Vancouver, this is where stuff happens. In Comox, you're just biking and kayaking and everything. But it turns out it's a lot of people working remotely for world-class companies and building world-class companies and just doing exciting stuff out in the woods and on the Gulf Islands. So we've had this monthly meeting going for a few months now. There's a barbecue next week if you're over in Comox. You're looking for an excuse to come over to Comox.
And not just the startup people, bro. Talk about the little education thing that we stumbled upon this week about the SR 71 you guys got over there.
Yeah, so School District 71 is the local school district there. They're doing some interesting stuff with AI. And it's everything is a little smaller, a little less political maybe than in the big city, which also makes it a little easier to get into those conversations and have some really interesting engagement. So we're hoping to have that.
The vice superintendent of that school district and the director of technology for that school district have built a whole plan and strategy and portal and infrastructure and tools that is like beyond like a lot of what I see. A lot of people asking questions, and there's a lot of infrastructure in place out there. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, so it's great, and we're having a good time. So if you're interested, I think we'd also be interested, and we don't have the full calendar booked out yet, but if you want to get in front of people and give a presentation, and maybe this room's a little intimidating for you, hop on a ferry, come give a trial in Comox. Yeah. And we're a pretty friendly, laid-back group. So
I go every month, and I keep asking if anyone wants a road trip. So if you want to go to Comox, let's go.
All right.
Come on up, guys. We got to move through these things. So what's the next one? It is next Wednesday. Right, Steve? Next Wednesday? So, yeah. The 4th or the 5th? The 5th. August 5th. Wednesday, August 5th. Wednesday, August 5th. Jimmy.
Hey, my name's Jimmy Stewart, and I'm putting together a community of AI professionals that are in the enterprise deploying AI at scale. So they're looking to bridge the gap between pilot to failure. A lot of the stuff that they do. And all these great conferences they go to, they meet a lot of hyped up people saying they got the next best thing in AI and they bought into it and now they bring it back, try to deploy it and it's falling over and they don't, scratching their head why. CFOs on their back, CEOs on their back, they're having to answer all kinds of questions in the boardroom, so they come to Jimmy to figure out how to fix all that. Kris is actually going to be one of our keynote speakers. He's bringing the human side to the event and really kind of grounding these leaders and putting them in check and essentially making sure that they're deploying human-centric, responsible AI, which is a core theme of
Here's my pitch for your conference. I've seen your guest list. He's legit got like 75 CIOs from American companies coming here. So if that's your customer, you should buy a fucking pass to Jimmy's thing and go hunt CIOs.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely got a lot of CIOs coming. Founders that are not in pilot, they're in production, they can scale. Policymakers, investors, anybody that's involved with enterprise scale AI.
Thanks, Jimmy. All right, Angelica, Professor UBC.
Yeah, hi guys.
SFU. I'm sorry. Give me a break.
No worries.
But you
The
said
other one.
you said yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
Will you tell him? Will you tell him what your specialty is?
I'm a roboticist. I'm an AI roboticist, and I work on developing robots that interact with humans. And just as Kris said, we all have this feeling of, I'm really excited about this, but also kind of scared. And so in this feeling, I recruited a neuroscientist and a psychologist to help us study what is happening in our brains when we interact with AI. I am running this study. I want to get as many people as possible to kind of get a diverse demographic, not just like this as a few students. So if you have any ideas about how we can get the word out, it's just like coming over and interacting for 10 minutes and we kind of, see what's happening in your brain. Some people will go and get their brain imaged and get a 3D scan of their brain at the end. I'd love your help so that we can go for safe, responsible AI. Thank you.
Angelica, before you leave, real quick, I've been meaning to email you.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I sent a slide. I don't know if it's still up there, but I have a whole bunch of posters, so I can just come find me, and then I'll give you the little QR code.
Angelica is on the Mind, AI, and Consciousness chat, so you could ping her there if you're on our WhatsApp group. That's a good way to do it. I've been meaning to email you. I've really enjoyed our discussions about AI psychosis. And I think it's a really important topic. As you know, I think it's a very important topic because I think it probably touches people who don't realize that it touches, and stuff. It's a very interesting phenomenon. It's got to be on the agenda for Future Proof Festival. And I would like for you to, propose something, please, or take the reins and do something.
Yeah, do you want to hear about that sort of thing? Yeah. I've been on my sabbatical, and I've been studying it heavily this year. So all right, so I'm on the spot. I can't really say no.
I know.
Okay, cool.
Or at least pass me a colleague. But no, really,
Yeah.
I want to have I'd like for you to lead the dialogue, but at some level, I want to be a part of it too because I'm fascinated.
Yeah, we need to know what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So thanks.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Come talk to me afterwards.
Check out her work. It's profound. Josh.
Hey everyone, this is my first time here. Thank you so much, Kris, for inviting me. I'd love to meet all of you guys. So what I do, I host and produce live stream content. It's kind of like esports for web design, or now I'm featuring AI tools. But anyways, that's kind of my background. Do we have a slide up here? Okay. So how I met Kris was about 2 years ago with another Kris Do. Do you guys know? Have you guys heard of Kris Do?
Anybody know this guy is famous on the internet? Friend
So
Kris?
he's from LA. He's actually in town already. So every year he usually comes for a fishing trip and then he usually does a talk. So next Thursday he's coming in for a sales workshop. And I think now with AI, it's never been easier to build. And so if you're building something that's meaningful, I think the skill sets next that's really helpful is going to be sales and marketing. Like, how do you go to market with your service or your product? And then how do you sell in a way that isn't salesy, right? That's human, and it takes something that's natural to you, like your gifts, your talents, your abilities, and share it in a way that is authentic to you and that meets your customers' needs. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about, Kris.
So Kris's jam is that he helps creatives figure out how to look across the table from their clients and be like, no, ma'am, that's going to be $18,000.
In a way that helps
and not
them.
to break poker face. Like Susie, where's Susie at? Susie just became a consultant yesterday, an AI consultant, left her big company, became an AI consultant. I know you need to look across the table and be like, my rate is $250 an hour. And just hold that face, That's his whole jam.
The 8-second pause.
He helps people figure out how to really understand their value so they can communicate it to people that are buying their creative services or whatever. And so he's the world's expert.
Yeah. And if you guys are just done with the whole performance, sales game and try to always be closing all that stuff, that's not what this is all about. It's really identifying what is natural to you and then really relating to the customer. So all of that, it's full workshop. There's great food. It's here in downtown. Again, you can scan the code. There are more details there. And if you want to know more, I'd love to talk with you. So
thanks, Josh.
All right.
Cool, man. Bill McGraw, what's up, dude? Hey.
Thanks, Kris.
You guys know Bill. He's been here since the very beginning. Like I said, we've been hosting this thing for 3 years back in my studio back in the day. Bill's here, been here since the beginning. You've kind of like found your way in AI. You've started producing some AI events and stuff, and you got a couple things going on the next little while.
Yeah, just quickly, appreciate it, Kris. I host a meetup every month for the Agentics Foundation. This is a group that's founded in Toronto, grown to now 20 locations around the world. They didn't have a meetup in Vancouver, so I said, okay, well, we can't have that, especially with Kris doing stuff like he's doing. So it just turns out we do it monthly. It's tomorrow night at Northeastern. So it's free. There's food. It's really focused on across. We started with a lot of devs. And now we've got a lot of UI, UX, people who are just dabbling, people who are deep into it. So lots of conversation about how do you actually deploy this and keep the human in the loop. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, if you guys are like, yo, Kris, your meetup's barely even AI. It's not even technical at all. I want to show people my Claude skills and have them check out my GitHub repo. You want to go to the Agentic AI meetup at Bill's place. Yeah. We definitely got those vibes in this room too, but they don't always get flexed out here. And then you got another thing going on.
Yeah, so it's just starting. You may have heard of Alexander College. They've taken over it's a private secondary, post-secondary school. They've taken over a building downtown, and they're building out an innovation center for AI. So servers in the basement. They want to call it a data center. We can't call it data center anymore because that's bad. So it's really not a data center, but it does give compute to the students and compute for the community, which I think is important. Second floor is going to be this innovation center. So we're looking at an incubator, products, all kinds of good stuff. We're just getting started with it in the next couple of months, and we'll have more to talk about it as we go forward.
Thanks, Bill.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. I'll take that. Anyone else on the community announcement train? Jason?
No, I don't have an announcement. The question is, how are we going to hold a bill?
Bill McGraw. Hey, Jason wants to get a hold of you and go to the Agentics meetup, and he wants to go to the Alexander College meetup. How do they find you? Like just on our group chat or what?
Yeah, it's a Luma event. It's the Agentics Foundation meetup. And if you want to...
Jason, if you ask on the events channel, I'll reply later. Yeah. We're working on it, dude. It's a little wild here tonight, man. Like, I was feeling the flow and did the whole future-proof thing, and I blew up Kevin's whole deal over there. Like, come on, I'm sorry. But he didn't have a QR code anyway. He didn't have a QR code anyway, though. Okay. Before we move on, is there anyone else who is in the community announcement zone who was feeling shy or didn't get a chance to talk at the right moment? Andrea Reimer, you want to mention your podcast? To you.
Two hands. Hi, folks. My name's Andrea Reimer. I have a podcast called She, They, Us that looks at the people living at the front line of the housing crisis, which are women and gender diverse folks who structurally have less ability to access housing and therefore are in greater crisis, and would love to have you check it out. I have no idea what it has to do with AI or what we're all about, but thank you for the opportunity.
That's funny because I was referring to Power You. I didn't even know you had that podcast. She also has this really cool video series she does on the internet called Power You, where she's examining like power, access to power, where it comes from, how it's accumulated, how it's reinforced, how you oppose it and challenge it. And I find it awesome. And I anytime someone starts to talk to me about this kind of stuff, I point them at Power You. So that's what I was talking. Yeah, and that's what that has to do with AI. Is there anyone else who needs to talk? This is that moment. Mage, I appreciate you not, because you could have said so many things. Mage and Mayumi won another AI animation hackathon 3 days ago.
We can roll it.
Yeah, you're going to get to watch it later once we get back on time track. Okay. Kevin, leader of our AI Film Club, would you please come up here and introduce Dorothy? This is Kevin. He's my right-hand man and all this kind of stuff. He also runs our AI Film Club, where he hosts and gives a very compelling series of keynotes himself. All right, sir.
Thank you, sir. How are you doing, everybody? It's been a little while. We truly have the most modest rock star you'll ever meet in our midst tonight. Dorothy, we had been trying to get together at the film club for several months. She was just rocking too hard internationally to be able to be in town at the same time. But we finally made it happen in May. And what she shared about her craft, her background, her passion, her way of working the new frontier of just what the heck it is to present yourself into the world in this new frontier of AI filmmaking was so generous and heartfelt, and we got so much out of it. And I can't wait for you to see, just what she's accomplished in the mere, where are we, 90 days since then? So, Dorothy, I'm so glad that you're here on the main stage tonight. You're in for a real treat, not just creatively, but as a human being as well. Please welcome to the stage, Dorothy freaking Pang, y'all.
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. I have to carry paper because I get anxious speaking, so you guys seem really nice though, so hopefully it all goes well. Yeah, so it's honestly so nice to meet you guys. What a pleasure. I didn't know there was going to be a barbecue, so that was pretty amazing. So my name is Dorothy. I am a full-time AI artist, creative director, and filmmaker. I don't come from a traditional film background, but somehow today I find myself a creative lead on this Hollywood movie directed by Doug Liman called Killing Satoshi, which is one of the first full feature films. So it's full hybrid feature film with Hollywood actors integrating AI fully. So I'm on the post-production team as one of the creative leads, and it's going to be going to theaters, which is really, really crazy. It's going to be like an hour and a half, and for those who've made AI videos, yeah, an hour and a half. Yeah, it's been keeping me busy, that's for sure. So a little bit about me. I didn't make a career out of creative work until later in life. And my path was anything but traditional. I actually came from the fashion and tech industry, and creativity was always running in parallel, but I kind of just knew in my heart I was meant to do something more creative. So I was always searching, and I've done many different career paths, and I've come across this, which is pretty wild. I also have a bit of an acting background that I explored on the side, and that's kind of how I got exposed to being on set for TV, film, commercial sets, and I'm just such a lover of film. I didn't go to film school, but I've studied films critically since all my life. I did film studies in high school, and I really love film, and that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now, because I really want to create and tell stories. So my design and filmmaking is completely self-taught. I taught myself everything on how to edit, and I'm really excited to share with you guys, probably at the end, one of my short films. So next slide. Oh, yeah. It's like the one 5-minute short, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So how I accidentally became an AI filmmaker. I want to tell you guys a little bit about my journey and some of the opportunities that are available for people in the space. It's still very new, and tons of opportunities for those who are interested. So before AI tools, I actually just created videos. I created social media videos, and that's how I taught myself editing from the start. But when AI kind of hit the market in 2023, probably early 2024, I started playing around with Midjourney. So my partner is also an AI filmmaker, and I got really inspired to create images. I think that's actually the best place to start. Midjourney is an amazing playground for testing out styles. You can mix up different styles. I turned childhood drawings, my signature childhood style drawing from 4 years old, into a live action figure. I took my personal photography and remixed it and made it really weird. So it's such a, I realized it's like a supercharged creative canvas to create. And that's the spirit in which I've always really approached AI. It's creativity, playing, and creating. So it helps me visualize dreams, emotions, and it's really its own language. And I want to tell you more about how I do that. So for those who've actually tried image generation, can I get a show of hands? Who's ever generated an image? Cool, that's a lot of people. That's amazing. I know when I first started, it can be really challenging. It can be challenging to actually get something that you like. Maybe that's even up to your standard. But I assure you, my first images kind of sucked. And it's because I did it again and again. I swear if you do it 1,000 times, 2,000 times, 10,000 times, your images are gonna just get better. It's just having that tenacity to keep going. So yeah, I really encourage you guys, if you've ever played and given up, which some people have told me, they're like, oh, I played with Midjourney for 2 days and I gave up. Keep going, because there's way more things you can discover. And I think if you even approach it with childlike wonder and not be going for an outcome and just more discovery, that can also really change your mindset when it comes to creating images or videos. So how this all happened was I created in public. So I started making images, videos, films, and I started posting them on my social accounts. I entered filmmaking competitions, international ones, local ones, and it helps if you win, but you also just meet other filmmakers, and I made a lot of friends along the way. And that's how work started coming in. I created a portfolio of short films with range, and people started reaching out, whether it was for commercial work, and I'll tell you more about that. Oh, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more of how I got a lot of empowerment through AI filmmaking. So when I was doing acting on the side, I did it for a year or two. I used to do a lot of auditioning. I also did scene study, which I love, which is really going deep into scenes and story. So when I was auditioning, I probably done over 100 auditions, and you get rejected a lot. You often don't hear back. You don't know, you don't get feedback, and it's very challenging. So as a part-time actor, I actually felt that I needed to create a channel or a place for myself to create. Because if you're not getting the green light to be a part of these creative projects, commercials, film, TV, then I have to create my own channel to do that. And I think that's really healthy, and it was a really healthy way to create that empowerment. Because the thing with acting is that even if you land a role, you don't get to control the story. You don't get to write and truly be a part of the creative team. You are just a part of the execution. So this is one of the things I really discovered along the way, the empowerment of writing your own story and putting your POV into your work. And that to me is one of the most magical things about AI filmmaking, that it's so accessible and can be used for good. Next slide. Oh, right, so there's none of the, no? Okay, no worries. They were honestly just titles, so it's like no big deal. It's really no big deal. I can read you the title. I think it was From Passion Projects to Paid Work. Yeah, I wanted to share with you guys, there's a lot of work opportunities I see all the time in this space. So I mainly work freelance in the documentary space, commercial space, and the film space. I typically work freelance, but I've worked full-time the last couple months on Doug Liman's movie. And the type of paid work that is most common, I'm going to share with you guys, definitely AI artists. Huge demand for AI artists, good and reliable AI artists from all projects across the board, especially the commercial space. That is going to continue to grow and has been the biggest opportunity, I think, for AI. There's just a lot of people looking to hire artists for commercial projects. After I created one of my short films last October, I had an agent reach out to me from Europe who represent me for commercial work. So that is one avenue as well to get work. If you can, get a good portfolio going, sometimes these agencies reach out to you and they will find work, find commercials that fit you, and you can join bigger groups and whatnot. Because earlier this year, I worked a couple months on a big commercial for the World Cup for this European company, and it was a really great experience. So in the documentary space, that's another really interesting application for AI. So the documentary space does so much B-roll. So the main footage obviously are the interviews, maybe articles, but there's a lot of B-roll. And so what I've been hired to do before, and I did this for a Vice documentary, is to create the B-roll using AI. So I get a shot list and I help deliver these shots. They're usually just a part of people's storytelling. So there might be just an interview of, say, a murder documentary, someone talking about someone's childhood maybe. And there's just no footage for their childhood. There's no footage for them as a teenager. So it's a really great space for AI to just imagine what that could be. So that's one thing that I think there's work out there for. Another place is microdramas. Tons of these little microdrama companies hiring. I was really lucky early this year. This one microdrama company wanted to run a test, and they flew me out to San Francisco to work with some actors for a week, and I helped make this microdrama, which was really fun. So I know there's tons of work there, and they're looking for storytellers. Full AI and also hybrid. What else? There's a ton of new corporate jobs that are appearing all the time with AI as a part of the job. So last year, I worked with Amazon Music in this very experimental role with 2 other people as their first Gen AI designer. It was just a 3-month contract, and we basically just taught them a bunch of things. I looked at their product roadmap, and I looked at how they could actually integrate AI into their software, which is a really fun task for me. So these opportunities exist. So I encourage you, maybe set up a keyword email. Sometimes I still get emails coming to me that I set up a keyword for AI or something else, and these opportunities will just pop up into your inbox, and you never know. All right, so the next slide was going to say, right? No slides. I was going to say lesson 3. I was going to talk a little bit about what I've learned and just some myths about AI filmmaking for those who, and it's good for people who've never done it or also people who are in it as well. So the first here all the time is that AI is just about write a sentence. So while it has become very easy to create a nice photo, even kind of a sloppy video, what I believe is really hard is to actually create something that's good. That remains the same, that remains the same as traditional film and video. You really need to put thought and detail into it. So the first thing is art direction. When I create work, and let's say if I didn't put in any thought and I just put in some generic prompts, I get back the most generic images. And my videos will look like the most average thing with a very gray, blue color palette, and it will lack, vibrancy, humanness, in my opinion. So I think if you want to actually do something good, you need to still bring the art direction. This is just like film. They have set designers, they have costume, wardrobe department, they have makeup, they have props. You still need to think of these things. You should design them and make them your own. So that's I think what AI filmmaking is. So you need to go into use a tool to feed in the story, the logic. I write drafts. It's still the same process. And ultimately the writing and the story, the idea comes from me. And I like to put a lot of like my life, inspiration, things I've read, things I feel, POVs. These are the most amazing things you can ever put into your own artwork, and that will make you stand out. And the second myth, one more thing. To make a good film, you also need to have a good vision with other aspects like editing, sound design. Through learning filmmaking, I've become so humbled at how difficult it is to edit really well, how difficult it is to create really good sound in a film. I have so much appreciation for people who are experts. I work with VFX experts all day, and I have so much appreciation for them and their brain. So it's these skills that are still really valuable, in my opinion, that AI can't just do. Although it is getting easier and easier in some aspects to make videos. An example would be agentic models. There's a lot of these new agentic models like Luma Uni 1 that do make making a film from start to end easier, but I've tested them and they still lack soul. I think you really need to still infuse humanity into the script and work back and forth with the agentic model. So the second myth is that AI removes creativity. I actually think it amplifies your taste and your choices because you actually get more choice. You get more shots. If you think about it, a normal director is limited by budget, locations. Maybe they only get 6 shots. You can do unlimited locations. Maybe you get 50 shots, but you still have to go through the action of choosing and knowing which one. You still need to have that eye. I think if you want to do something good, you need to know what you're looking for, what kind of performance you want, even from the AI. So as tools shorten the distance between idea, audience, and iteration, you can also get quicker feedback from your audience, which is pretty amazing, in my opinion. That you can actually, in the past, it might take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, longer to get your film made, and by the time you wrote something, all this time has passed. So this ability to iterate quickly, and maybe you can get something onto YouTube, and maybe people relate to it. It's all kind of amazing in that way. So as technical barriers disappear, I think a filmmaker's greatest advantage is their ability to see the world differently and to express that through the vision of their film. So that, to me, is still the most human thing. So AI, to me, is still very much a tool. It's a means to create something. It's a means to create concept, but it is still human vision driving it that makes it shine at the end of the day. Third myth, quickly, making an AI film is easy. I can assure you, I've been working on this feature film, this hybrid feature film with, who's in it? Gal Gadot, Casey Affleck, Pete Davidson. nothing about what we're doing is straightforward. Even if it's full AI, even scenes that I'm doing that are full AI, nothing is straightforward. Keeping a consistent film is extremely challenging. In fact, I think in some ways it's more challenging using AI. So every day, I'm problem solving with artists. I work with 3D artists. I work with compositors. I work with experienced VFX artists. And we don't just press a button and it's done. We are literally all using different tools. We're solving different problems. We're trying to get the hair mat working with the weird light on top. So there's all these problems we're always trying to solve. And I think what is helping my project is actually the people. It's the people more than the AI tools. We are simply experimenting, but at the end of the day, we're the ones who are driving the output of the film. I had a quote that was going to be on a slide. I was going to share with you guys. Thank you, paper. I was really lucky to be at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas this year. And I got to see Steven Spielberg do a keynote there, which is amazing. He's such a hero of mine. And he spoke about if filmmakers are truly able to be honest with themselves, that we embed our subconscious into our work. So that's very in line with some of the things I said, that really, as makers, as artists, we are putting our subconscious and ourselves into our work. And I found that to be, it really resonated with me and just made me love what I'm trying to do more. All right, so let's see, the next stuff might not work because I had something visual to show you, which I can't now, but that's okay. That's okay, we can skip ahead. We can skip ahead. Okay, next slide. The right way to approach AI filmmaking. I asked the question, what can this medium do that nothing else can do? So when photography came out in the 1800s, early photographers were highly criticized. Painters, who were the dominant artists at the time, said, photography is cheap, you just press a button. It's stupid, it's such a dumb technology. Sounds really similar actually to what we're going through. So at the time, it was very illegitimate to be a photographer in the 1800s. In fact, photographers tried to stage their sets just like painters, just to even be kind of in the ballpark respected, I guess. They staged scenes, they used soft focus, they did portraits just like painters, manipulated paints. But some photographers argued that it should actually lean into the qualities that only they are good at. So, for example, photography can capture, it can be a still of a motion. They can do aerial views, these crazy aerial views that a painter couldn't possibly have a setup to do. So it wasn't really until they leaned into what they were meant to do, that only they could do, that I think photography really grew and became its own thing, and not just a mimic of painting. So I think we're in this stage to really ask that question. What can AI filmmaking and art do that traditional art cannot? So I don't have all the answers. I have some answers, or I have my version, but I think I challenge everyone to ask themselves that if you do make films and art. So for myself, what I think only AI can do really well, that's very difficult, is this physics-free continuity. So this is actually, I think, very technical and difficult normally, if we were to do this traditionally. But AI you could like start off in the universe and then shoot right into a planet and go into molecular level and go into the earth and the dirt, and there's some things that are just so impossible to visualize traditionally. Like I couldn't bring a set to film that shot, and the VFX might be too difficult. But AI can do that stuff pretty easy. So sometimes I personally try to test out AI to do things that traditional film would just not be able to. That is too difficult, too expensive, and frankly, maybe weird. So physics-free continuity is one. The morphing subject is another. I'm sure you guys have seen that. That's very AI. The morphing of, say, you could morph myself as a baby into my current self in a 15-second video. That is very unique to something that AI can do, things that are morphing, and I think that's something also that's fun to lean into. All right. So the last part for me is the future of AI cinema. The first is AI integrated into traditional film and TV pipelines. We're seeing that already. This is just traditional shows and TV, just with some AI integrated maybe into their post-production with VFX. Netflix revealed that 300 titles on their platform used generative AI in their process this year during post-production, mostly for visual effects. So that's this number one. The second is full hybrid film and TV content. That's the example I gave you. The feature film I'm working on, where we filmed actors for 20 days on a set, and we've now are spending months and months to make the movie and make the environments and do the crazy camera moves post-production. So this is a full hybrid film. And I think this is a part of the future of AI cinema. And the last one is just brand new type of media, which is just fully AI film and TV. Tons of platforms are trying to do that right now, just full generative AI films and movies for consumption. But also, I think one of the best applications is to use it for concepts and trailers. So a lot of filmmakers are quickly testing their ideas and making a trailer, maybe to get funding, maybe to test it out on the internet. You can use AI still and try to film something traditionally. Nothing is stopping you from using it as a means to get the interest and funding you need. There's a lot of filmmakers today there's a lot of indie filmmakers who have succeeded by creating and really carrying that spirit of creating on YouTube first. They got their audience on YouTube first, right? Like Kerry Barker, for example, who's been creating forever and brought his audience to the theaters. And that is kind of it from me. Thank you.
Dorothy, we do have your film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't hate me. I don't know what the fuck happened. David the intern
Honestly,
didn't show up with your slides on his thing.
They were just titles.
Sorry. But we have your film.
Okay.
So would you like to do Q&A first and then the film? Or, yeah, let's do the film.
Let's do the film first.
Yeah.
Let's break it up. Yeah.
I'm gonna go get more help.
There's nothing you can do but breathe slowly, eyes closed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Remember Grandma? 10 years old and working any job she could find. You can do one more minute. There's nothing to do now but breathe. It's so cold it hurts. I remember what it feels like to be warm. Sitting on the beach in Positano right now. That pizza place near the beach. Had so much cheese on it. That's where I'll go after this. Animals survive winters like this every year. There are things living down here. Tiny things. If this is it, I spent the day with beautiful friends, doing the best thing on earth. We can do one more minute.
That was positively haunting. Beautiful. Would someone hit the second light switch from the top on the wall panel back there? All right. So I imagine there's gonna be some questions for Dorothy. Who's got something to? Yeah. Is that Ted? Yep. What's up, man? Nice to see you, dude.
Always good to see you, Kris.
Yeah. Nah, man. For the live stream, bro.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Kris. Dorothy, wonderful talk. I'm honored to have the first question for you. But so I've been kind of hacking away, building myself, a bit of a creative, more from the gaming side of things. And what you mentioned about how you first started and how you start growing was through building in public and sharing. So honestly, I've been dragging my feet about that for a long time. I've been wanting to do it, but always just kind of not having that first step of thinking about how to present the stuff that I'm building. So love to just kind of learn about your process, like what worked, what didn't. Was it just about sharing your content directly, or it's about sharing your process? Just love to kind of learn about how you got started with that.
Yeah, it's good question. It's definitely not one size fits all, but I can just share for myself what I did and what was right for me. For myself, I wasn't necessarily just trying to grow a following. I was just trying to get my work publicly, out in the public, and to put my portfolio up and visibly. I wasn't trying to get 1 million followers by doing very viral things. So everyone's goals are different. So I would actually ask yourself, what's your goal? Are you trying to get noticed by a company? Are you trying to, there's so many motivations. But for myself, I knew that I just wanted to, I'm trying to get into filmmaking. So I should make high quality work. And that way, that actually kind of works against me sometimes because Instagram says we will not promote your reel because it's too long. So in that way, sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm not the right person to even answer the social media question. But if I were to give you advice from the very beginning, I would say if you're so uncomfortable right now and you're still in the creating phase, I would sometimes just create and just tuck it away. The most important thing is to keep creating whether it's image or video. But if you do start feeling more comfortable and you're more happy with maybe what you're doing, just put it on YouTube or Instagram. Just get it out there. You can delete it later on if you don't like it. You never know. Maybe people really like it. You don't even know. But it's very easy to just delete it.
I totally resonate with the just keep creating part, but then you mentioned photo and video. But I thought that one of the things that carried your work was like the audio, like the music and the effects and stuff was like pretty, like it's a beautiful part of it all.
Thank you.
Do you consider that part of your own practice and expression? Like,
Yeah.
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 Cool. Natasha's got a question over here.
Thank you, Kris. Oh my God, that was like mind blown. At first, when I was watching it, I thought, really, AI? And that was that good. And then there were a few things that AI does that just like, it's like, oh, if you didn't do that, this could be so cool. So I want to ask you how you deal with it. There was a scene where she's under the water and her mouth is going above the surface of the water, under the surface, but she's breathing through her mouth. And that's not possible.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's it's definitely a tough one. So it's about your tolerance. So for myself, I was trying to do this for a certain competition, and you have to make trade-offs as a filmmaker. I can keep working on this for another 6 months and nail every single little shot. It's just going to take me a longer time. But it depends. Again, my goal was like, I just want to get reasonably good content out there. This was for a competition, so I had to do it. I had a limited amount of time, so sometimes I have to accept that something is not perfect. But I am a perfectionist, and I'm actually learning to try to let go of certain small things. I think in the spirit of creating, it's better to just do the thing, and maybe it's not imperfect, rather than spend like 10 years on it.
Trottier, you're up next after Mage here. You can obviously, I'll come to you in a second.
Oh, yeah. Hey, beautiful, obviously. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you decided on a lot of the shots. Like, I mean, obviously the first part with the skiing was clear and obvious storytelling, but then you cut away to a lot of really interesting things like neurons building, and the fox was just inspired, and there were so many different little aspects there. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how those things came to you, how much you experimented with that, how much editing you did to kind of like put something in, try it out, take it out, and how you ended up with that whole thing, and also how long did it take you, given that, like, for me, doing obviously the same sort of work that you do, I just felt like intimidated by the breadth of the, just the breadth of the content that you put in that all added towards the story. So can you tell me a bit about your process?
Yes, that was a handful. I'll do my best. So I start with writing. For me, writing is my foundation. I actually changed the concept 3 times before, and I even started stuff and stopped it, rewrote, started, stopped, rewrote, because it just wasn't working. So that's a part of my like painful process. Sometimes what I wanted to say is just not translating at all, even into film. So a lot of time was actually wasted on rewriting things that weren't working. So when this script and this idea did work, it all just comes together. So I actually write a proper screenplay. I do actually I try to pretend I'm like selling this thing. I actually write it into a screenplay, which means I actually have the details on how I envision the shots, what the voiceover is, for example. So specifically, your question was about the montage when she's underwater, how I thought about, how I came up with those shots. That part for me was actually easier than the hardest part was actually the action shots in the water and the ice and the consistency. Those montage shots, that was the fun part for me, where I was just, all I was dialed into the script. I knew what the lines were, so now all I have to do is read it and think about what's the spirit behind it. So for me, I get into my characters. This is based on a real woman who actually survived, kind of like this, like trapped skiing underwater 80 minutes. Her heart actually stopped. Her heart stopped for many hours, and somehow she resuscitated because it's amazing, our bodies. But it was so cold that her brain kind of just reduced its capacity need for energy, and she somehow survived not breathing for hours. Amazing. So I was like, what would that be like if you knew you might die, that you were just trapped underwater with your skis up there? What might that feel like? So while doing that, I came up with, I would probably think about someone strong in my life. And she thinks about her grandma. I'd probably start trying to comfort myself and maybe think about going to get pizza after. These are like my real thoughts. I was like, I'd probably, think about Positano, Italy. So a lot of it actually just comes from my own, I'm trying to like empathize with the girl.
Okay, there's a few more people who want to ask questions, but we are going to enter the lightning round now. Christopher Trottier, Alex. Who else has their hand up? Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, we're gonna deal with this. We got, Kris, you get one sentence. It has to be a question. Yeah, great. And then please give like a 30-second at the maximum answer, and we're gonna try to get to the rest of these. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, considering that AI generates so much slop, how do you get your good stuff into the hands of the gatekeepers? Because obviously you're working with really qualified people and talented people. How do you do that?
How do I get my good stuff? By choosing not to post cheap stuff is probably my biggest strategy. Number one. Yeah.
Like the legitimacy level. So it's like, if you're like, yo, I'm an AI filmmaker, how do you get past that, it must be sloppy slop shit? Like, how do you get people to even watch your thing the first time? Yeah. You must know what I'm talking about, that you say you're an AI filmmaker and people are like, pew, pew, thank you very much, but I like...
Yeah. I honestly don't have that many followers, to be honest. I don't know that like there's like even that many people watching my stuff, but honestly, it was about posting. Like, I think a lot of people like to take the strategy to post one thing a day, and I take so long to make a post, and it's anti the proper strategy, but I have really chosen to only post stuff that I'm truly proud of. And so somehow the right people have seen it at the right time. So after I posted like Clinical Calm, like my agent reached out like within a day or two. How? I don't know. Somehow, someone saw it.
You are a humble hero, because like I joked to you when I was working the barbecue earlier, when I tell people you were speaking here tonight, they were like, I wish I could fly from Toronto. So your following might not be that great on the numbers, but like everybody's watching what you're doing.
Your narrative section was visionary. It was great. I'm also a filmmaker working on a hybrid project. But what I wanted to ask you is, how do you deal with the negativity and like the echo chamber for filmmakers right now? Because as a filmmaker, that's really horrible and it needs to stop, and hopefully it will stop.
I honestly don't think I'm important enough to get this like hate online, to be honest. And maybe I would feel differently if I got a lot of online hate. For myself, I'm really proud of what I do because I choose not to like put out cheap crap. So I know if I'm proud of my own work, and that I think it has a real story, that's my way of dealing with it. So yeah, maybe I just surround myself with other AI filmmakers. I don't really feel it too hard.
I'm right back here. Lightning round.
Lightning round. Thank you so much, Dorothy. Stacy, I'm a director of communications at the University of the Fraser Valley, so storytelling, of course, resonates. What stuck with me, as you said earlier, some of the tools you use don't have a soul. this so obviously had so much soul in it. So can you quickly talk about, very esoteric, but where does soul come into that process for you? Because it obviously does, but just curious about how you navigate that with all the criticism, negativity, AI is fake, AI is not authentic, not human. How does that all convalesce together?
I think I infuse soul in it first through the writing. A lot of the time, the writing comes from sometimes an experience I've had. It comes from maybe I saw a news story and I felt really strong about it. So that's, for me, infusing soul, even just the choice of topic and what it's trying to say. That's like the number one thing. And then number two is how is the style. I think style is like so personal, and that's like a really big choice that reveals your soul, or lack of choosing as well. If you want to be super generic with no choice, that's also, you see that, right? So
At least one more right here. And then I'm going to come up to Jimmy, and then we're going to wrap it up and go to Dave Olson.
No pressure whatsoever. Mid-Journey beta user, so absolutely love when you brought that up. How far it's come is just remarkable. So are you using that for part of your film production, or what type of AI model are you using for producing these films? And where do you see it going? Because where it started, it's just so crazy of how you can now influence the style of imagery you want it to produce. And so how's it going to evolve from here?
You sure did.
I'll answer in two parts: personal work and paid work. So for my personal work, I use all tools because I like to experiment with everything. I like Mid-Journey always to set style, specifically for animated style. You can get really creative in Mid-Journey. Mid-Journey's though not so good for live action, though. So yes. It continues to be a tool for personal. Usually, I find in my professional work, we don't really use Mid-Journey for one reason or another. That's not even my choice. It's like the producers. But sorry, did that answer your question? Oh.
Now, of the moment tools.
Of the moment tools, definitely Dance, but that can be done through many places.
Have you fucked the Happy Horse?
Happy Horse. No, I have
There's
not.
a new Alibaba model that I've been messing with. This kind of interesting. So, okay, so Dance and what else?
Yeah, definitely Dance and Kling 01, Kling Omni, because you can infuse human performance and do a lot more weird things. Yeah.
I got one more right here from this guy, Nash.
Yeah, great film. It resonates with me because I live in the Arctic and I've heard these stories live, and I see a lot of value in these stories being told because search and rescue and sharing what to do in these situations is phenomenal. What I wanted to understand is, how do you get a lot of experts to, come together to bring that together? Because when you're talking to someone interviewing, they're telling you their experience, but then now to translate that, there is my vision, there is their vision, and there's a lot of, experts you kind of have to bring around to bring that richness and for it to translate that soul. Just wanted to know how you get those experts around you.
Can I make sure I understand the question? How I get the right people to watch my film?
Oh, no, not the right people, not the audience. I'm talking the team that you're working with for them to really curate that together. There's a lot of people, I would imagine, sound, like you said, visuals and all that sort of stuff. How do you source that? How do you find the right people to come for that project to actually bring it to life?
Completely depends on the size of project. So the project I'm working on, I'm a creative lead on the team, and all the hiring choices are made by our executive producer. So that's not actually one of my choices. But in smaller projects that I take on, for example, if I get hired to make a short film and I have a budget, I can make my choices on, say, a sound designer or anyone that I want to help me. So usually it'll be within my network, and yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Have you ever wondered what it was like to go up on stage and have your keynote not freaking be there?
I'm just
you
paper
passed the
wins.
test. You passed
Paper
the test.
wins,
Yeah.
guy.
Me and you even had that chat. You're like, we talked about the confidence monitor. I'm like, sometimes it's sketchy. I would just recommend paper, but I wasn't even thinking about that when that.
Yeah.
How about Dorothy Pang? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So now the moment you've all been waiting for. There's a cooler in the back with beers and bubbly wines in it. I'm gonna set up Dave's little perch right here. We got Dave Olson in here from Okayama, Japan. I've been really sentimental about this the whole night, like, cause I invoke Dave's name all the time at these meetups. Dave, broadcasts in sometimes. He's the reason why we have a podcast, cause he's like, hey, you gotta tell me what you got going on over there. So now Dave and my mom listen to the podcast. But I've been really sentimental about this whole thing. I'm really excited so many of you came. Grab a drink in the back. Come find your seat. I've got a handout to give you that me and Dave been working on for a month. And we'll get this party started in like 1 minute here. Dave Olson, come on up, buddy.
but also been sort of a mentor to me. Mentor manatee, a kind of symbiosis has occurred over time. But it is truly my great honor to introduce, after 10 plus years, we were here for Northern Voice, the last one that I recall. I remember sitting right there introducing Dave as he was giving a talk that was similar but different. But this is something all new, and I'm so glad to be able to introduce Dave Olson, who needs no introduction.
Where's our First Nations brother that gave us such that warm welcome off the top? Anthony, George, and just left. Oh, I brought a present all the way. Okay, I'll put her on standby. There will be other presents. Oh, all right, let's hit some slides. Let's see what happens. Okay. So here we are again, together alone. Everyone good? All right, well, this is not my first apocalypse. Dear little Dave hanging out with his super cool bifocals. Have you ever seen bifocals look that punk rock on anyone? And what seems to be a dwindling fire and a bowl of oatmeal? Well, when I think about that little Dave, I think, what would he find handy? Because tools, we humans love our tools, don't we, after all? So lighters, a collection. Everyone has a collection of lighters at home, right? Yeah, yes, of course. And that cute little bifocal Dave would probably want a pocket knife. So just in case, next time I'm traveling through that time, I keep at least a dozen on standby, because it seems like he would need that. But what he really wanted is a big knife, because whoever's got the big knife wins. The biggest computer, the biggest thing wins. Or is it the person who has the best eyesight? Because all of you have a collection of glasses too, right? Yeah. I'm gonna make a mobile sometime. I think I paid for the orthodontists of children of ophthalmologists by now. Let that one sit for a minute. That was a lot of syllables. And I pulled it off. Whew. Well, that's, I guess we call it good now, eh? But what I really love is scissors. I love these scissors so much. I bought them 3 years ago. I still haven't taken the tag off of them because it just looks so right, you know? I think about someone hand making those scissors, then tying the tag on it and coming all the way to my barn in Japan. Oh, and a good tape dispenser. We've been fooled by big tape to put up with those tiny little crappy things. Single-use tape dispensers. And really, if you're going back to an apocalypse, tape. Think of all the things you can do with tape. And parenting tip to any of you who are parents, get your 5-year-old a proper tape dispenser. Yep, and he's working out fine. He's working out fine so far. And then do that, and then let's all check back in 10 years or so, right? Oh, and then typewriters. Who doesn't love a typewriter, except the people who don't know how to fix things and have poor eyesight? I got a collection of those too. They don't ship well, they don't travel well, but my goodness, when you sit down and type, it feels like doing trapeze without a net. On our computers, we can change anything, and if we want to change it, we just ask a robot to change it for us. And even if we don't want to change it, there's little squiggly lines popping up. How hard is it to invent new words when there's always autocorrect in some word that you've come up with or giving you little things? No, I want to write. So do you know what you do is you get a typewriter, and the typewriter never complains, except when it's a broken typewriter. Do you have your handouts? Did you get your handouts? Kathy, make sure you take one anyway, because it's a great memento. So I typed this on an Olivetti Lettera 33, which it turns out, like everything on the internet, there's a massive subset of diehard enthusiasts about typewriters. They collect typewriter user manuals. They quibble about the different subsets and submodels. And sure enough, this Lettera 34 that we found on our honeymoon at a thrift store, 2,300 yen, about 20 bucks, One, it's not listed in any databases because it's the model that has a yen key, which seems like it would be really valuable. No one really cares, right? The second thing is there's a spring or something missing, so the thing hiccups. So you'll see I diligently went out to type this thing. Now, I could have gone back and corrected all of that, but where's the fun in that, right? You can see in there, some of you will figure out which of my keys is faulty. One of you will probably figure out, well, if you've replaced this spring, then it will work out all right. I, however, do not have those skills. The other thing that's very handy to have during an apocalypse is a map. My family and I recently flew from, obviously, we flew across the Pacific, and every time I've done this so many times in my life. I've flown so many times, and I'm always trying to make it slightly less sucky. However, I'm not one of those wealthy folks or one of those people who collects points. So there we were thinking about the only time I've crossed the Pacific that was comfortable was on a ship. So I found this map. I drew a map just in case the ship got lost. I made some memorandum to share with the captain. Maps, handy, right? And now we got all these devices. I remember in the days before there was just one or two dominant map service providers. All the excitement about the ability to have a map to anywhere in your pocket robot. Now, do you know what's really fun? Is leaving the house with no maps or getting a paper map. Last summer, we took a road trip around Japan. We went to JAF, which is like the BCAA. They no longer produce paper maps. I was furious, but undaunted, I took a 1992 expressway map purely for aesthetic purposes. We did not use the map. They built some roads. Unlike Vancouver, infrastructure projects move along quite quickly. Oh, inside of humor. All right. Awesome new bridges. I've driven across several new bridges while we're staying in Langley. Has anyone ever been to Langley? Oh, wow. Way more than I thought. I grew up in Surrey, so there wasn't too many places we could make fun of, and actually no one ever talked about Langley, so there's really nothing to it. Okay, so the other thing that's great to have in apocalypse is friends. And friends who stick with you and you find common ground beyond things. So many people here, we met simply because we were using the same types of technology way back in 06 or whatever, and we all convened together. And we have so many of these faces in here, we have all convened in many windowless conference rooms with recycled air. Fortunately, this one has beverages and is not surrounded by guys that smell like Axe body spray that are trying to get you to try their new database tool. You totally know the guy. So, as a board-certified time traveler, I have my card in here somewhere. Believe me, I have a certificate. I'm going to tell you a story about when I was back then time traveling through Egypt. However, this photo, there's not a problem with time travel in Egypt, not a lot of cameras. Only the Aztecs had cameras. But there is this snapshot from me in around the 1500 BCE. I was a stunt double for King Tut. Very rare job. Unfortunately, they killed me when he died at 19. However, the story I want to tell you, fast forwards another till about 300 BCE, after Alexander the Great told me, the P is silent. That's how punk rock, you can have a dynasty with a silent P, and it still lives through all those years. They built the Library of Alexandria. You've heard of it, right? Right? And then these Ptolemies, the second and the third in particular, in case you're keeping score, enacted a great terms of service agreement for anyone who wanted to bring a ship to Alexandria, which everyone did. It was a big deal. It was like an important city. It was a world-class city. It was probably on top 10 lists of most livable cities. You know those ones. Oh, dang, Melbourne. Oh, Zurich. They enacted a law that said anytime a ship came in to port, they could go on board and seize any documents, any manuscripts, any scrolls, any papyri, any clay tablets, anything that you had written. But it's okay, we're gonna take the original, but we're gonna have our scribes over there at the local Kinko's make you a copy, and then you get the copy back because it's the same words, right? So we're gonna keep the original, we're gonna give you the copy, and we'll let you stop here in Alexandria. People are like, well, geez, I guess, it's a copy. It's good enough. Then, meanwhile, they're also sending people around to buy up, private collections. They were doing the antique roadshow. They were going and buying. They were on their eBay buying collections of books and stuff, right? But they really needed the premium goods. So they said, well, who's got the best stuff is those Athenians, right? Hang in there, Ichiro. What? Are you copying me? So then those Greeks, right? They got the best stuff. And this dynasty of Egyptians, this was after 200 years of Persian rule. This was a Greek Macedonian consortium dynasty that was running the thing. So they were like, hey, Greece, man, you guys got all this great stuff. And they're like, no, we know your scam. We're not sending you the works of Aeschylus. Like, come on, this is original, dude. This is a first edition Batman. We're not sending you this unless you pay us a deposit, like I don't know, like a cost of doing business. Like what you would get is a fine from that GPRD. Like what do those companies get fines for? When you get a fine for addicting kids to social media apps, and you get a fine like, I don't know, 5 million, 10,000, 50 million, is it really any difference? Just rounding errors, right? So the Alexandrian, the folks who were working there in the library, and keep in mind the library was a mighty campus and employed all kinds of professionals who their job was to copy things, maybe decorate things, maybe, there's like free wine at the tavern at night, things get a little sloppy, there's some little jokes in there, things get lost or whatever, right? But then there was also people who were hired just to think. Let's think about this stuff. Let's categorize this. What a beautiful thought, taking all the knowledge of the world and categorizing it and having it instantly accessible. Oh, except that we stole most of it. So the Athenians, sent for all the money. Alexandrians never returned it. They started doing this scam all over the world until people really started resisting. But they're like, well, can't come here then. But that wasn't what really destroyed. Well, the two things happened. One, Julius Caesar invaded Alexandria. The story, Cleopatra was there, da-da-da-da-da. But the main thing was they just stopped funding it. They just stopped paying attention. One by one, the scribes got better offers at some new startup, Scribes R Us or whatever, right? They had a ping pong table as the perk, right? Get some stock options and something, the Spartans. Who knows? This Homer guy might be onto something. Can I Kickstarter his book? So I love libraries though, right? Now, Library of Alexandria, it's all gone. We don't know where it is. Nothing really happened. There's no end of the story because no one was left there to write it down and no one really bothered. No one was paying the bill to say, hey, would you mind writing this down? And not everyone writes for free, and papyrus, that costs money, so we don't really know, except that it wasn't maintained and it fell into oblivion and all the world's knowledge disappeared. Okay, bye. And then, but now we live, fast forwarding to contemporary times, we live in a city that has majestic, right? Look at this. Who's that little guy on the screen? Oh, sorayo. Oh, he was that tiny. We love libraries, and I heard recently about the way one of the LLM models is gathering old text. They're taking old editions of books and cutting the spines off of them. Talk about a way to break my wee achy heart. All right, Egypt, no cameras. Now we have cameras. What comes next? As we time travel, where are we at? Oh, Surrey, 1979. There were still dirt roads. Guildford Mall was brand new. Yes. Imagine a world where you would have to get across the old Patullo Bridge with, thank goodness that thing is torn down, with that middle lane, because it was always raining and you may have had a driver's license, but you were not a driver until you drove the middle lane of the Patullo Bridge on a Friday night at 10 o'clock in the rain and get past the turf. There's a reason the parents never told us what goes on in the turf. So, Surrey, it was a faraway land. I took it upon myself to get a mimeograph machine. Now, in between that whole thing with the Egyptians and the Romans and mimeograph machine, there was printing press. But everyone always brings that up and, talks about Gutenberg and blah, blah, blah. But still, you needed to go to a guy with a printer and pay money. Mimeograph machines, oh my goodness, these things were cheap. You got like this carbony kind of page you typed or wrote on it. You got some weird fluid that anyone over 50 remembers this from their elementary school. You remember that, right? Or maybe some of you remember this from the church bulletin that told you about the bake sales. Mimeograph machines. These were great because anyone, like some goofball kid, adorable, with bifocals, 8-year-old kid in Surrey, could foretell the eclipse of the sun. What if there was not this community newspaper available to tell people? They would be shocked. They would go out one day and there would be an eclipse happening. The second page had an instructable drawing about how to make your safety device so you could gaze the eclipse safely without burning your retina. Yeah. There was about 30 subscribers, about what my blog has now. So, if we're going to continue the same thing. Same 3-column layout. 7 years it took to get, 6 years it took to get that lap. How old are you? So, the Pig Express. Went a few issues. But it wasn't much longer that I discovered the joys of the road. And I went on a big road trip, in this case. I'd already been on some trips, but I went on a big trip with my grandpa. He came and picked me up, and he says, we're going to be away for a couple of days. And 2 weeks later, we were in Mexico, driving in his, like some little hatchback. He smoked 2 packs of Salem's a day, the Salem menthols. And every time I'd roll down the window, it'd be like, oh, there, David, it's a little bit cool there. So little cute little trying to, get a pre-fake ID Dave, pre-awesome beard Dave, going along with, and then you'd go in the back and sleep, and I would drive in Mexico, unlicensed. We went across the border with my junior high school ID card, and he had a letter from some like Mexican ambassador he played golf with like 15 years previously. Oh yeah, this will be fine, David. This will be fine. He's in the back and he stops breathing, which is, unnerving. But anyway, the point of this was he started me making travel diaries, travel journals, and you can see my interesting handwriting on the left, and then a little bit of Grandpa's exceptional cursive up there on the top right. He taught me a couple things: write everything down, even if it doesn't seem important at the time. I've taken a different approach where I write down all the unimportant things, right? Which is great because that's what becomes poetry. His was very much a logbook. The second thing was, on road trips, the best way to do this, instead of one person driving until they're tired, everyone alternate drivers every 2 hours. Just try it, it works. I no longer drive. Poor Idioko just drives all the time, but I say every 2 hours, like, ooh, let's stop for a coffee, but that's actually just me. So, mimeograph gave us a means for copying our own thoughts. So did cassettes. Albums are beautiful form. I have far too much vinyl. I've had to have a serious relationship talk about my vinyl purchasing habits, etc. I never had the same love affair with CDs, but cassettes. And cassettes, y'all that didn't throw away your cassettes from the 80s? Oh, buddy. Cha-ching. But making mixtapes is really fun because you send a mixtape to someone in the post, and they're like, well, I don't have a cassette player. I'm like, well, now you have a side quest to go get a cassette player. Because do you know what's way more fun than a Spotify playlist? A cassette playlist. And you get to get your Sharpies out and scribble on the label and write little love notes on the J card. So much fun. Has anyone not made a mixtape? All right, I mentioned Kinko's earlier. Now, in dedication to my craft, I worked at a Kinko's for 3 months. For those of you under 50, Kinko's was a copy center. Kinko's, in many ways, was the internet before the internet was. Because in the town of Olympia, Washington, where I worked, Everyone who had a band, a venue, a concert, a judo, aikido club, a church musical, a play, was trying to publish a book, was trying to do a thing, was leaking secrets from their accounting firm, all of them came to Kinko's. And a lot of the weirdos came to the night shift where I was there with my little name tag saying, "Hi, I'm here to help you, I'm Dave." They kept on putting me at the cash register despite my dyscalculia and inability and indifference towards money. But I got to work there to make stuff with all the machines. You know, sometimes things fall off the back of the truck, as they say, right? I love this side of you, Ichiro. I love this side of you. I love your laughs. So, this, I do have my name tag somewhere, but this shows us that once upon a time, to correct things, you would get out a small container of liquid, which, coincidentally, as the junior high kids knew, would get you high if you smelled it, and you would cover up the letters and go back and fix. I did not do this on your handout. I did not use the liquid paper. Has anyone ever seen the show The Monkees? Michael Nesmith's mother invented liquid paper. And for a short period of time, probably a 30-year lifespan, liquid paper was absolutely critical. Now, no, not so much. Invest wisely, kids. All right, so story about me and the internet. Are y'all hanging with me? Okay. So, I was making all these little arts and crafts projects, right? Like making all these fanzines. In between there's punk rock fanzines, where I learned that if you make a punk rock fanzine, you could call up the promoter and they'll get you a free ticket, and then you'll start getting free records in the mail, which is like the best. And then you start going other places and builds a thing. The downside is Xerox copies are significantly more expensive than mimeograph. As I learned, my parents were in real estate in Surrey in the 80s, and I used their key counter thing on the thing and on the machine, and it turned into a whole debacle because all of a sudden my fanzine cost $80 to produce. It had Joey Ramone on the cover. Still, it's hard to recoup those kind of costs at $1.50 a piece, right? Especially since everyone says, "Yeah, I'll totally pay you later for that, man. That's great, cool zine, man." So, in between all that, I started going elsewhere, far away, anywhere I could buy a one-way ticket to. Because round-trip tickets, it turns out they're way more expensive. You just buy a one-way ticket, because in those days, no one cared if you had an ongoing ticket. You just go to a country, right? No one cared if you had a giant hatchet on your carry-on bag or a loaded camp stove. I can attest to all of these things. Oh, it's wonderful days, wonderful days. No maps. Oh. So, I ended up on the island of Guam, it's in Micronesia, and I was diligently working my way through life as a fire stick juggler. And my head felt like a Jimmy Buffett song. My job was to go to help people have a good time on the beach every day. At the time, there was loads of Japanese tourists coming, like, a dozen flights a day. Now there's not. Because Japanese people have just basically stopped having fun since those days. So, my job was to help them have a good time on the beach. I was very diligent and very serious about my job. But then one day, Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead died. This was the same day that Netscape had its IPO. Coincidence? All right. So, as we do, as Deadheads do, we gather in some park with a candlelight vigil, and there's some guys from the newspaper, a couple Howleys, off Islanders, right? And they had all the information about like how Jerry died, was there a memorial, what's going on? They had all, and I'm like, how do you guys know? And they did an interview. See, that's the newspaper thing. They asked me some quotes, and there were some cheesy quotes in there. I've been given cheesy quotes to newspapers since long before Jillian Shaw. I've been given the cheese to the Surrey Leader. Oh, I got a collection. This time it was the Guam Pacific Daily News, and I give some cheesy quotes about that, but I asked these guys, how do you know all this? And they're like, well, we have the internet. I'm like, what's the internet? And they said it's like words and pictures coming on your computer screen through the telephone line. And I'm like, I don't understand anything you just said, man. Guys are weird. What? 2 days later, I took a class, trumpet windsock, Windows 3.1, 14.4 modems. We connected to the internet, yeah. Cuentos.guam.net. I wonder if that email still works. I started downloading dead.net, the first web page, and then about a third of the way down, a brown tree snake bit into the power lines and cut off power to the island for 2 days. So I'd seen the future, right? And it was just like these magazines, these little zines and newsletters and whatever I've been making, right? Except it was like, what? Seems super cheap and anyone can get it. I don't have to pay for postage. So right away, I started making web pages. And I quickly left the island of Guam because I thought, well, maybe there's this whole thing with this internet. I'm 25 now. I'm practically an adult. I should probably go finish that college degree. So I flew to Olympia, Washington, Evergreen College. The first night I was there, I went out looking for change for the laundry machine. And I saw some guys setting up a booth to sell some tie-dye shirts. So I said, I'm like, okay, these guys are safe. I can talk to these guys. And they're like, are those hemp overalls you're wearing? I'm like, yes, these are hemp overalls. Come see us tomorrow. Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for the change. They're like, we started an ISP. I'm like, you guys have accounts at an internet service provider? Like, no, man. We started an ISP. We got 33.6 modems. And there's 3 dudes, and they're all like curmudgeonly internet hippies. And I'm slightly less curmudgeonly. So I weaseled my way and I boot camped the internet for a few months, and then I worked my way into be the marketing guy for this internet company, which is very nice. Good job, Dave. Congratulations. But we were the first one to do DSL on US West, then US West network. And we gave static IP addresses, right? So all you program are like, oh my gosh, I can run a server from home? Yes, and we were the only choice. And in those late 90s days, there's companies like Amazon, there's a startup called Amazon, and like people could work from home if they could have a VPN. So to get a VPN, you need a static IP address, or you did at the time. So there was one ISP to get that from, cha-ching! And one by one, the little ISPs, the mom and pop ISPs died and withered, and all the quarters came to us. And we had a lot of those guys that say, hey, you want to go get pizza? We have coming in, we're going to buy your company, we're going to make you an offer, thinking that they could buy us off the scrap heap. And we were just like, get away from us. We are curmudgeonly internet hippies. But finally, a group came, and their address was 420 Stony Point Road, Santa Rosa, California. We thought it's a sign. And they said, we need bright young internet minds to modernize our company. We're like us? And they're a competitive local exchange carrier, which was, you have like in Canada, you have Bell, Rogers, Telus, which are your incumbent local exchange carriers. For a brief moment in time, there's competitors. You could like choose another company besides the cartels. Anyway, we sold the company to them and everything imploded. This was early 2000. You guys remember .com bomb, all that. So I had that unique feeling of losing $800,000 in a day before I was 30. It's good to get that out of the way, those milestones. So I took revenge. The only way I do is like call up the newspaper guy and say, hey, this run a sensational article. I'll give you a cheesy quote. And look at my photo. Ta-da! Oh boy, did we cause trouble with this. And then 2 days later, the company declared bankruptcy. Ha ha! Except for the $800,000 part. Would have been nice. But then we wouldn't all be here together, would we? No, sliding doors and all that. So I tried to get a job after that. No one would hire me because I was just an ex-curmudgeonly internet hippie. So me and one of the other curmudgeonly internet hippies, we said, well, we should just start to do the same thing. So we found a little cafe and we put free Wi-Fi in there because we didn't want to work in an office anymore. Nobody. When we put up signs that said Wi-Fi, people thought, Wi-Fi? What's Wi-Fi? The heck? So we had DSL and Wi-Fi connections. We put them in all our favorite coffee shops and cafes and record stores and bookstores from Bellingham to the other Vancouver. And so our work was location independent. What? It's all possible. Think of how sucky your job would be right now without Wi-Fi, without DSL, doing like, we got AI, we have all the compute, and we have 28.8 modems. So that was one of my great tasks of liberation, and trying to explain Wi-Fi to people, because they thought, well, people are just going to come in our coffee shop and buy a coffee and sit here all afternoon. And we said, no, they totally won't. They did. It just took 10 years later for them to change their behavior to that. And now, possibly like some of you, I'm looking for the coffee shops that are just like, no Wi-Fi, digital nomad, using up our counter space. And if anyone dares put a Zoom call on speaker, you'll be forever banned. Oh, we had it all for a minute. So, before the internet, there was telegrams. My older brother got this telegram on the day of his birth, 1969. I am the second child. I did not get a telegram. I also got the smaller bedroom. However, please start my GoFundMe. Start a GoFundMe for me. So I started looking into telegram technology, and I went all the way to Signal Hill in Newfoundland just to go investigate that, because you have to run a cable under the water from, the UK, wherever. I don't bother learning the place names anymore because they all just sound like places in Surrey, all the way to Newfoundland. They got a couple telegrams across, and then the cable broke. So they had to send a ship across it. Was that error on your end? No, man, we're fine here. I thought it was your guys. Send a ship across from us. Like, no, it wasn't them. So they go down and get the geek down in the base. Well, I don't know, man. Everything's fine here. Guess we just got to lay a new cable. All right, that's going to take 5 years. But telegrams lasted for hundreds, like more than 100 years, right? In the same form. This is 1969. This is still the same ticker tape cut out and pasted on there. But I thought, if I can't have my own telegram, I'm getting through it, man. I'm getting through it, you and me. I should just remix the telegram form into my own uses. And so I got a bunch of old telegram pads, thanks eBay, and I started sending out telegrams. Any of you ever get that? Some of you get mail from me, right? Yeah, okay. All those mail strikes, I'm never sure. And I thought, I could cut up these things and make my own telegrams and start sending in notes. And then I took telegrams and wrote a story on them, and I sent them to 4 separate people who may or may not ever know each other. And I should have taken pictures of all of these things before I sent them. Oh, the postal services of the world are one of my great joys, and I see it diminishing right now, and it breaks my heart. So telegrams. So when Ichiro, this guy, this happy, jolly fella who's no longer impressed by my jokes, was born, some friends sent a telegram to us, because we had sent a telegram to them in Switzerland for the wedding. In Switzerland, guy shows up, a chap in a cap, not the app, and it's Switzerland, they probably bought chocolates or something, right? In this case, the post office sent my wife's fax number and email, because it's an e-fax thing, saying there's a telegram and it says these words on it. I'm like, hold on. I want like a thing, like an artifact. She calls, she said, well, we got this thing. I guess we can print it. And this is a telegram that was faxed to the post office. They print it out and then print it out on paper. And now I took a picture of it and put it on the internet. So I think we just achieved communications Yahtzee. And now it lives in Ichiro's scrapbook, his baby scrapbook, because we make a scrapbook for everything. And look how cool the weird, mutated, faxed, whatevered. Yeah, very cute, hey? It's kind of cute. To paraphrase Borges, because who doesn't paraphrase Borges? The original is unfaithful to the translation. Voila. That evergreen college diploma. Interdisciplinary studies is my degree, which just means, I don't know. I couldn't really decide. All right, so in those early days of the ISP, back to the ISP thing, at that cafe we had Wi-Fi everywhere, so we started doing podcasts. Has anyone listened to a podcast that doesn't involve celebrities name-checking each other and going, oh, yeah, I was on his show. Oh, that's funny, we should golf together. Anyway, do you need to buy a mattress? I have a subscription to a toothbrush service. Has anyone listened to a podcast that has none of those attributes? All right. Yes, they do exist. In 2005, me and my buddy, we started the Clubside Breakfast Time podcast. That newspaper you saw earlier was called the Clubside cafe, and we started doing a podcast. And everyone says, well, I can't listen. I don't have an iPod. Oh, jeez. Another one of those things like Wi-Fi, trying to explain these stupid terms, blah, 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 blah. But these things live on. And now I uploaded all of my old podcasts to the Internet Archive because I was so pleased to see a couple of months ago talking about Internet Archive, which I adore. And, you know, I've had some health challenges. Maybe we'll mention that. Anyway, I uploaded all these things to Internet Archive because the things seems like they should live on. A guy in New Zealand found all my audio archives and sound samples and all this stuff, and we started collaborating. We've talked on the telephone one time for 10 minutes. Aside from that, we made an album. There's actually a vinyl, but vinyl is totally difficult to travel with. So I brought the CD. So the 90s folk will get this. And look how cute it is. And it's me, absolutely appallingly, with 2 original pieces, and then a James Joyce, who's public domain, and Jack Kerouac, who's, you know. So I just mixed me and those 2 guys in there together, no big deal. But it's the Winterkeep guy in New Zealand, because he found this stuff on Internet Archive, and if I started thinking about it, I'd be like, no, that doesn't fit. So I just gave him carte blanche, and then sure enough, we have a CD. You can buy it on the internet. I have no idea how. But yes, you can clap for me releasing a CD this year. All right. Okay, so we made podcasts back in the day, and podcasting was beautiful because you could do it for so cheap. And now it's just become just another way to sell mattresses, to sell, like Rick Rubin. Come on, dude. Like, are you really hurting for cash? You really need to push me on your energy drinks or whatever, right? Make more beautiful podcasts. All right, my mic technique is off. Thank you. All right, payphones. In Japan, we have convenience stores, public toilets, and payphones everywhere. Neener, 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 neener. I'm traveling with like an international phone number. I'm trying to catch a cab the other day because the child is of the limit where he needs to, anyway, car seats, cabs, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we need a callback number. And I'm like, dude, you don't have enough letters, numbers in your thing, right? So it's a real hassle. And I went to look for a payphone, and there's no payphones along. They all packed them up. What'd they do with them? I bought one of the old ones in Japan, and I put it in my studio, and people say, does it work? I'm like, yeah, dude, you can pick up the handle and call anyone at any point in time. And it's beautiful. Kate, you've used it. It works. But I've taken upon myself on all my rambles and travels to document payphones. Because payphones, as you longtime travelers know, you would take all of the change that you possessed in the entire planet and you'd plug it into a payphone and you'd get about 45 seconds of conversation after doing the math for the time zone, right? So to me, these were a portal and a lifeline to the whole outside world, and one day soon they'll be gone. So I started then saying, well, what can I do with all these pictures? And I'll make postcards out of the payphones and mail them to folks like you, right? Super fun. So, there was some conversation earlier about turning this kind of stuff into job and your creative endeavors into job. And I was thinking about how to summarize this because I'm incapable of brevity, as you've learned. I moved to a country that doesn't do hugs and everything has to be short and to the point. I have a 100 yen store whiteboard that we have on our fridge, along with postcards that we receive from wonderful folks. And I write little messages on there. And I wrote a little message to my future self that seems like it should be written in papyrus typeface and sold at a gift shop in Bali. Super cheesy, right? But in my double nickels on the dime, 55 years and dozens of businesses, and like you could say I hit some, can I make a sports metaphor? I hit some doubles. Got hit by a pitch a few times. That was a movie set. That's for you. I've done my things, right? But if you're not doing something that you're passionate about and you're working for someone else and they all do this thing where they say, oh yeah, we're all in it together. Oh, just this next 3 months is really important. Oh, this next weekend, oh, we really need to get together and do this push, this sprint. We're going to do our stand-up. And then then the VCs roll in, right? And the money starts rolling in, and things get different, and things get weird really fast. But the great news is you can do your own thing, you can understand contracts, and you can change yourself 15 times in your life, at least. I mean, heck, I've changed myself at least a dozen times. And I don't mean just like who you are and what you do. You can completely reinvent yourself. You can throw yourself, it's like walking out of, you go to a movie theater and you go to the loo, and then you walk back into another movie accidentally, but it takes you like 10 minutes to figure out that I'm in a completely different movie. That's happened to me so many times, right? And that's where the magic happens. This is where you veer off the path and reinvent yourself. Plus, you end up with so many freaking ID cards, right? And then I look at these pictures. So I did a project leading up to my 50th birthday where I found pictures of me that could be dated for each year of my then young 50-year-old life, plus an artifact that I could actually triangulate and date to that. Because, you know, some people do puzzles or Sudoku or whatever, right? I do personal archaeology. And I found all of these and dated them and triangulated them and made them into a blog series that, I don't know, no one looked at. I don't know, probably someone did. Oh, thanks. And I had a blast doing this. And this guy, Ichiro, he'll be able to look back and be like, oh, okay, here's my dad's whole story. I don't have to do all that thing like, it's the end of the life and your parent is... And he won't ever have to sit down and do that with me because I'll like, dude, check my website. It's like, it'd be easier just to sit down and talk with you, right? So which is your favorite Dave? No, stop it. Okay, so everyone talks about transparency, right? Transparency is like one of those buzzwords like leverage and synergy and stand-up and sprint and hackathon. So here's my transparency. Here's all my ID cards. You can copy all of those and hack all my information, right? And reinvent new versions of me. And just to triangulate, so you have from my Wikipedia page, because shockingly, I don't have a Wikipedia page. Here's all my ribbons from elementary school science fairs. So you can enter all of those in so it's totally accurate. So it's all fact-based. And there's also a list of all my talks that I've ever done, all the newspapers and magazines, from Wall Street Journal to High Times. I've been in them all. List them on those. Yeah. All right. Oh, and there's my first fake ID. Look at that. I was like rolling in there like, yeah, of course, I'm 23 years old. Worked every time. Utah. What's that? No, I did get one of those Granville Street ones. I used this Virginia one to get a BC Identicard just off Granville Street. Yeah. All right, passports. I love passports because it wasn't 60, 80 years ago. People didn't need passports. Just wherever you were, that's where you were. You existed. We didn't have all this documentation. And passports now are so unbelievably critical and complicated. Boy, how do you ever lose your passport in a foreign country? Whew. You think about embassies and consulates are going to be all like, oh, welcome, Canadian. We've got donuts and coffee. No, it's so not like that, right? So I've taken upon myself to remix passports. Can I show you a little show and tell? Okay. So this is a Yugoslavia passport. These in itself are, you know, kind of like neat, rare kind of stuff. You know, that country went through some upheavals, and you go from one country, you get like 6 out of the deal. Is it 6, Vishnu? Yeah, okay, more or less. It changes every 6 months or something. So this gentleman's passport, I thought, you know, the Egyptians said we only stop die when people stop talking about us. There's a call back to the Egyptians, right? You guys thought I was just making this up? So I said, you know, this fella, he should still be part of our world. So I have an acquaintance named Jason MD, EMDE, in Gifu, Japan. We're both from British Columbia. He is from Vernon, I am from like wherever, right? And he writes poems, he makes podcasts. He's been to the same concerts as me, and we've never met. And he's met 2 of my brothers. What? So to get to know each other, we took this gentleman's passport, and we mailed it between ourselves 20 times. Each time putting in little weird cryptic magic things. And that's a great use of a passport. You get a little scrapbook out of the deal, right? Yeah. Does anyone want to look at this that will take care of it? Here, Jillian, you're responsible. Oh. This ain't our first rodeo, you and I. Here's another one that's super fun because this is a Cascadia passport. And I've lived from... Okay, oh no. All right. Later, if you want to nerd out on passports. All right, I'll expedite. I'm so sorry. I don't get to talk much. Okay, here's my advice. This is a beautiful windowless room filled with beverages and brilliance and fun times. Do not, dear friends, go work for a company and your life becomes spending your precious weekends in windowless conference rooms. I cannot emphasize this enough. I have spent so many weekends of my life in malls and Canada Place and all this, hey, you doing? Yeah, here's the guy, yeah. Take your knowledge that you're gaining at times like this, make your money, and cut and run. You have a tiny window of opportunity before the world catches up with you. Don't try to do everything with it. Try to do what's the easiest way I can get X. I say I'm a millionaire because I live in Japan and I roll in yen, but whatever number you want to come up with, however many commas you want, get that money and get the F out of the game. Because everything's going to change. And then put on a new hat and make cute postcards about it, right? You can be a big shot with all your $1 billion and buy yachts and stuff, or you can just not work a lot and go buy cool hats in foreign countries. Because the sunsets are the same sunsets. Oh, put that on your Bali tapestry. So now what do I do instead of tech is I do laundry and dishes and make pickles and vinegars in a provincial town in Japan. Yeah. And I get to make the labels for it too. And I'm loaded. Look at that wad of cash I roll with, right? Just rock around with that all the time. Yeah. If you like money, if you need money, just print it out of the laser printer, is what I always say. I learned that at Kinko's. Or make your own Canadian Tire money, but call it Canadian crypto money. Yeah. All right, so you're Gen X guy, you're just all full of apathy about these tools. Here you are reminiscing about mimeograph machines and telegrams. Great guy. I have my $150,000 mortgage. That's Japan. It's your $1.5 million mortgage here in Vancouver, right? I want to teach you. I want to tell you about revolutions. Revolutions come and go, and they go in waves, and they have patterns. And this is Alexandria and Ditto machines and punk rock fanzines and all these things. And all these waves of the internet through the ISP days and what we colloquially call the Web 2.0 days. Turns out that was just code word for another way to sell you a bunch of crap on the internet. Oh, my hands are filthy. Ichkum, just a little bit more, all right? Kris already told me to hurry up. Revolutions. I wrote something on my beautiful Underwood, the Remington Jr. typewriter about this. I'm not going to try to read it right now because, you know, clock's ticking. But these will all be available. But instead, we will turn to Lorne H. Olson, realtor of Surrey, now deceased. We already went to visit his grave while we were here. And he left us this wonderful gift of a box full of notepads that he hadn't given away from his real estate business, right? And this is so old school. It doesn't even have the 604 on it. You didn't even need an area code on your real estate letterhead, nerds, right? All right, so Mr. Gen X guy living in Japan, how do you use AI? All right. I have a chronic complex illness going on 13 years. I have been through every kind of medical test you can imagine, and I've got really good at it, really good at dealing with because I hate it. And I want to fix it. I want to be on the forefront of fixing all of this. So I found a hospital, Okayama University Hospital. Shout out to them because they're awesome. Founded 1870, 100 years before me. and they have a special clinic dealing with my illness and illnesses like mine. And I said, I'm going to be the best patient you've ever had. And also, I'm your only foreign patient, so I need to represent for all foreignness. Because that's important in Japan. Whew. So I go in with bilingual memos every appointment, 4 times a month. And this gives them a longitudinal view of my health situation. And because it's a teaching university, they often have interns, like medical interns, not interns. Anyway, I love them all. And so then I have a copy for their intern. They get to read it and look at it. And then I don't forget anything, because I forget things all the time. And I get on the bus and I go to the doctor and I'm like, And instead of cryptic memos, they now have a dossier. But before this, before I was using the AI pocket robots, I have to tell a pocket robot, I said, I've been doing this for years before you showed up, right? And then they say, why don't we take all your data from all of the years and compile it together and make a report? I'm like, I didn't ask you for that. I just want a memo. Make me a memo. We'll do that some other time. But I got stuff to do, pocket robot. But now I have this massive 10-year archive of medical memorandum, the last 7 years of which are bilingual. And I'm going to be able to be part of someone's understanding of something, ... TBD. That's pretty awesome. All right, laundry. I take very good care of laundry at our house because my wife is an arborist. In fact, she's a Japan Nationalist Certified Tree Doctor as of last year, October. And there's Ichiro, and he has no off button except for right about now. So I take very serious care of our laundry. I'm sounding like a commercial now, aren't I? But we have a laundry machine, because it's Japan, and it's a robot, and it has 1,000 buttons on it, right? And it's not written in cute little symbols or in the easy hiragana. It's written in dense kanji, and I'm like, I got dodgy eyes, and I'm trying to read the things in its LED screen. So I say, robot, help me. I have a load of, describe the load, and then it goes into incredibly, going into this 3 menus deep and over to the left. I connected my heat pump air conditioner to the infrared remote control to the Wi-Fi, and it connects to my phone, except it's not smart enough to know that I'm in another time zone. When I try to connect, it says, oh, your clock's off by more than 5 minutes. I have to connect my phone to Tokyo to adjust my heat pump. But I got that heat pump connected, and that was thanks to those robots, because I didn't know how to do it. So I'm using it for laundry and air conditioners and how to pace my days. So I run out of energy really easy. My mitochondria doesn't work. I don't make new energy. I'm always tired, and I get kind of grumpy and spaced out. And in the last few months, the pocket robots have been helping me out with how to organize and pace my days. Because we've had this Canada trip, the Slow Fraser trip, that I tried to cancel because of going to the hospital. But I bought the cheap tickets, and here we are together. Yay! So I'm managing hospital stuff, right? Just because I have a memo bilingual and I'm going there trying to be smart and talk all fancy, it's still like, whoa, right? It's a hospital in Japan. And then I mentioned Japanese immigration. I have a complicated immigration situation that I'm going to get into, but we have a very nice lawyer, and we're going back and forth, and boy, howdy, has it been. And then Ryoko had concerts, and Ichiro had a birthday. What a life, right? And so for pacing my days and organizing my days. So all of y'all are going, wow, this guy like hardly does anything. Nope, I'm not finished. Dear wonderful people, Vancouver AI ecosystem, I have a side hustle. I never thought I'd use those words, side hustle. Actually, it's not a side hustle because it doesn't pay. I'm the Santa Claus's regional representative in Okayama area. And last year for our community association Christmas party, which my wife played accordion at, because she was just like, I think I'm going to play accordion at this. Because great-grandfather Ichiro had played accordion there in 1947. Weird, right? So I went to the robots and I put in pictures of me as Santa Claus in the past and said, chubby me up just a little bit, flesh out the beard just a touch. and make these into coloring books. And then I had a picture of me on a Santa Claus, probably at Guildford Mall. And I'm looking disgusted, like 8, 9 years old, just going like, this is super lame. So I put my face on it, and all the kids were coloring 5, 6 different designs of Santa Claus, and then I roll in with my bag over my shoulder, ho, 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 and all the kids are like, oh my gosh, it's that guy. And then they see that there's no string. Yeah. But we have rules. It's Japan. No one sits on my lap. They stand a respectful distance away. I give them a choice of poses. There's double piece, antler piece. They get choices. They hung the pictures up on the wall, and I was like, no, kids, children, take your pictures yonder. But I was just left with, I have a big stack of Santa Claus colored pictures. So if anyone wants one, hit me up, and I'll mail you one. Okay, so what do I want AI to do? I want it to tidy up messes. I have a 5,600 post WordPress personal creative archive, and the world is filled with websites that we all made diligently in 1995 and 2005 and last year that are filled with broken links and broken images and broken crap. And WordPress, I remember some little kid worked for CNET out in the patio talking about this new blogging software he had made. So I know some of that code is at least, well, older than a college student. So I got a hunch with all this vibe coding and all these tokens and all this agenticness. There could be a whole new way to repositize personal creative content. I don't need another website. I don't need a Substack, because you know what that is? That's an email. Right? We already did listserv. Although I'll totally subscribe to you and I totally won't filter it. So I want tools that can fix up things. And then manage the mundane. So we have an endless supply of broken government websites. We have all kinds of social problems that just need fixing. We have supply chains that need refined. We need like basic civic information, and we need AI to also do the mundane and the janitorial tasks of our life for us. Movies are great. I made a movie in 1997, I'm so sorry, Kris, on VHS tape. So I also have the feeling of what it's like to have 500 VHS tapes on hand. So I made it into a notebook. Yeah, so this was also a benefit of working at Kinko's. Okay, I think I'm on my last one. Or almost.
You don't have to be sorry.
All right.
We're not going to go back out and do the bar and do the whole networking thing afterwards. So you have like 10 more minutes, man. And it's
All right.
And then we got to go.
Okay. Yeah. Most scenic dump. Slop in, slop comes out. You all have beautiful ideas and beautiful backstories and beautiful artifacts. And you have fantastic elementary school report cards and stellar imaginations, and you have your master's theses that you wrote, and it went on a shelf after 2 people read it. All that stuff is our legacy and can go into the world if we put the good things out into the world, if we keep the things that are the best of us tucked away in shoeboxes. But I know all of you keep my postcards wrapped up with twine, little red ribbon, some cedar in a shoebox, right? Don't you? All right? We have so much wonderfulness, and I believe there's more to us than we can even really imagine at this point, because now all these roadblocks of tools and compute and what's possible is combined with also the sense of that there's business models behind all of this that we have to navigate. There's once upon a time you get a company that has a shiny name, and you were just like, cha-ching, this is my thing that I do. Or in Japan, you get a job for a company, and you're going to work for that company for 50 years. But now there's a whole new landscape that is possible to get your piece of. I don't have any skin in it, but I want you to get your piece so you can come visit us in Japan. Yeah. But don't waste your time putting garbage into the systems. Don't waste your tokens having one thing analyze another thing. If you got something to make it. Don't just put the leaves in a bucket just because the leaves are falling, right? Maybe the leaves want to stay on the tree. Maybe they want to be scattered. You need to let yourself loose from the parameters that you think you have to do for your personal and professional life. I once said years ago, fuck stats, make art. There's my buddy Cameron that brought it up and sent it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still relevant for half a second, because I said that in 2008 when everyone was trying to get 1 million hits on their website. But those hit sites are, for the most part, disappeared or else giant evil conglomerates. But the art that all of you have made over the years, I have art from people in this room that sit in my flat folder with dehumidified protocols because Japan is humid. But these things are precious to me. And these are the things that are going to be part of your legacy in 20 years and 50 years and 100 years, or in the case of the Egyptians, 3,000 years, right? Oh, yes. There's something I was going to say clever about this. Oh, the Concorde flying from Aqaba to Amman is 150 miles. They didn't need the Concorde for the transportation. The Concorde was a label to put on the thing so they could make a first day cover so people would buy the first day cover. I don't know why or how, but I sure bought one and had a time roll into Aqaba, Jordan. Have you guys seen Lawrence of Arabia? Yeah. So I went rolling into Aqaba in this row, right? As like my little jump, jump, jump. And I thought it was hilarious and awesome. I had the best day. All right, fill up notebooks all the time with everything. This is my list of what I was looking for community. Notebooks, notebooks, notebooks. Okay, Zen. I'm a foreign guy living in Japan, so I'm obligated to make actually, in Japan, reference at least one thing. I've been holding myself back, but I'm just going to say that this is at Eihenji, which is the original Zen temple. So a guy called Dogen, you maybe use that as your video game avatar name or something like that. Went to China, got Zen, brought Zen back, and we were at this temple. You have to put your shoes in a plastic bag, and I'm like, this doesn't feel very Zen. And then I found one little shrine that's covered with punk rock stickers. I'm like, it has survived hundreds and hundreds of years just waiting here just for me. And all of us have this, I'm going to say it, moment of Zen awaiting us out there in this big weird world. So what I want out of life is I want sleep and poetry. The three of us were up on the Arima, that's the Osaka Bay, down below, and you buy these little heart-shaped rocks, which is a great business model if you have heart-shaped rocks, and you throw it into the abyss. I don't think you're supposed to write on it or take a photograph of it, but there was no rules posted. So this is what I want out of life, and how I look at these tools, any tools, whether it be pocket knives or pocket robots or AI models or whatever, and I say, how can I use these things to get what I want out of them? I have my list. I actually have a longer list of an idea that would be a great piece of something that's like a personal archiving tool. I want an AI, LLM, whatever, on my local computer. I have a 10-year-old Mac Mini, so I guess I'm halfway there. But it can take in all of my hard drives. Kris, this is what you need. You need a machine that you can put in all your 87 hard drives of photos and all your Quark Express documents, Sean, and all your ClarisWorks documents and all your stuff. And this AI will go, wow, man, I see you got a bunch of stuff. You got pictures of payphones. You got pictures of post boxes. You got all this stuff from this year. You got this format. I got an idea. Why don't we organize it like that? And then let's pull in your Twitter feeds, because I don't want them to own it. I want my stuff on my server. But I got laundry to do, right? So I'm waiting for someone else to figure out all those things so I can just install it.
I've been telling you, Dave, we got that.
I know. You've told me, but I'm waiting for it to be. I've been busy, man. I've been in hospitals. I've been painting post boxes. The top line of the haiku on the post box wore off. So I do the things that I'm capable of doing, right? You notice the gold paint, so I had a little kintsugi flair. There's my two Japanese references. So here I am now, your friend Dave. I married two other time travelers, and here we are in the Taisho era, traveling through time, because this dude's apocalypse. He's got fire, he's got music, he's got a knife. He's got his own knife, you guys. Yeah, of course, right? And my wife's got a little Tonka truck there. So we're ready for the apocalypse, man. Whatever's coming, we're dialed in. I won't know all of the things, but I know you guys. So I'm now here calling. I'm like, hey, I'm your pal. So you're going to tell me oh, right, Dave, we're going to take your 5,600 post pile of ancient WordPress slop, and we're gonna get it all fixed up without me spending $39.99 each on 15 different plugins. Is it possible? I don't know. So in the meanwhile, I'm going back to my true love, which is making little analog things. It's become very hard to ship things between countries, tariffs. So I make things that can go letter rate, that fit in a little handy, cute envelope, and they're little folded books. And I've been sending these around the world. And oh my goodness, is it fun? They're stamped and numbered, and they have all the emotions. And this one was from a healing hot spring that's filled with radium. It's totally good for you. Radium, duh. It's the uranium that's the precursor that's bad for you. But I put a diagram in this book so you'll understand the thorium and the radium and the uranium and how they all fit together. I didn't know, but Marie Curie did. And there's a statue of her in this town in Japan. And who else is going to make a little book of poetry about it with prayers and haiku and a picture of me with the mayor in 1994? I mean, this seems totally normal, right? And then I took it a step further and I taught Mr. Ichiro how to make these origami fold zines. And guess what? I have tons of now. And he makes the little I love you cards. Get your children a tape dispenser and you will get things like that. Right? And it all folds out the same style. And then I found a poem that I wrote at that same hot spring in 1993. And all of a sudden, you got a bundle that can go into an envelope. There they all are. Oh, and here's all Ichiro's books right over there. Look at that. $100 each, no big deal. So this is my next project, which is going through Nepal. I set up this whole mise-en-scene, including a fictional letterhead for a guest house that never existed, or did it? And then I have an overhead laser scanner. One shot is the truth. That's all you get. And that's coming out pretty soon. It's a 106-year-old printer shop in Japan right now. There's the front of it. That's all you get. Oh, there was the last one, blah, blah, blah. All right, so here we are. 13 years later. The chair was slightly right there. Look at that shit. That's amazing. That's my campfire blanket. I did a talk called Poets, Punks, and Revolutions, Forgotten Vancouver Stories. What's that? You have hair. You know it's a long time ago when he has hair. So there I am. We had a campfire up on the stage. I had a chair because I'm a delicate ball of prince. And that was the last time I've been on a stage. That was the last talk ever of Northern Voice. I broke Northern Voice. I didn't mean to. And then I set off in this whole other part of my life. And what I realized along that, nice Shibuya Republic shirt, by the way. Oh, there was a diagram. I had to set up a schematic. You know, it's not a talk unless you have a schematic of your stage setting. It's art direction, right? Is that what it's called? So in my attempt to regain my title that I earned at summer camp of Mr. Fun, which I'm totally not. I'm Mr. Go to bed at 9 o'clock, Mr. Send some postcards. That's fun. That's fun. I'm fun if you need a coffee. So what I learned through all this with all the other stuff about money and blah, 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 and passion and all that crap. Friends will crowd surf you along the way. There were so many of you that I've known for 100 years. I've shown up at every time someone asked me to speak at a thing, whether it be some college or some association of something that they didn't even give me a freaking Starbucks gift card to give to a guy outside. No thank you letter. I'm looking at a credit union right now. I showed up, but it's the friends like you who are the ones that crowd surfed me to safety. I had to disappear into some faraway lands to find myself, because you get lost and sometimes you get found, but not always. But because of people like you, I found my way back here for this night only. So thank you very much, and you can send me a postcard. Come by.
Thank you, David. We're definitely going to do a Q&A. I know a lot of you people came to be here with Dave tonight. And real quick, I want to invite you guys to come stand with him here and get a photo taken real quick. I just want to do a group photo with David, and then we're going to jump right into the fucking Q&A. So if you came here to be a part of this, even if you're not, if you're new, welcome to the cult. But come on up. Let's do a group photo on the stage right quick. Everybody who's here in the next minute gets to be a part of it. John Beeler, Susie, Kemp.
Careful, buddy.
Yes. Why don't you find us...
Look at you
Sit
beauties.
on the bench or something like that. Yeah, so you sit on the bench, Kathy. Hi, Danny. Nice to see you. Mark. Mark, I'm sorry to make you move so much.
Ichkundako. Ichkundako.
Anywhere you want to go? Yeah.
No, got.
Here, you just stand.
You're gonna need to step back a few rows, Tristan. I just happen to know. Yeah. I got this part. Yeah. That's great. Miranda, will you come right here? No problem. Great. You're lost. Nash, you want to come just like sit right in front of the A, I guess? Andrea, you're lost too. Come sit right next to Kush, the brown guy in the front row. Yeah, right there is cool. Who else? Yeah. Cam, come on, man. Come sit next to this guy, Nash. Thank you. But you from the back filter into this situation. You, sir. Yeah, you come. Kemp, you're totally fucking lost. Come sit right here next to Kate. Kate, right here. Jason. Go around the side, Jason, and come right here.
The cult.
Yeah, right here.
Cameo.
Aw, Mark, that's great. Farnaz, come stand right where those papers are. Yeah. No, scoot your butt back into there. Yeah. Michael, there's a guy over here with a hat on. Come to him in the front row. Jason, same deal. Go sit next to Michael. I don't know. Hey, we hold that.
Sit on my other knee.
Ma'am, behind Michaela, you're totally lost. Come stand next to this light right here.
He's a photographer. Yeah, it's not his first time.
Finn, come hold this light post right here. Just come around that outside and then come right to the front of that light post, Finn. Sir, come back. Yeah. Nice job, Trottier. Yeah, you come. Just scooch as close, as comfortable as you feel to that dude. Andrea, that's a nice spot for you in the middle. Danny, what am I gonna do with you, Danny? Andrea, will you scooch right out the back? Come right there.
Jason's got Okasan's calligraphy too.
Thank you, everyone, for playing this. Maxim, the new Ukrainian volunteer. Let's find a spot for you, sir. Will you come stand right behind Kevin right here? You guys are so nice for playing this game with me. I've never done this to a whole group of people before. Gustavo, there's a spot for you, right? Go all the way around the back, Gustavo. Come. But I know everybody's fucking name. Nobody knows it. I think we're pretty much cool. If you can see the camera, he can see you. Taras, come close. Yeah, you got the right idea. Amber, you're the last lost soul. Do you see Erica being cute over here, laying on the A? Go stand right behind Erica being cute. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Here, you can hold a prop.
Okay, where am I going to stand? I'm going to stand right here.
Props must be returned.
I'm going to stand in that spot right here.
Hold a prop.
My voice carries. Hey, everybody. How's it going?
You better make your fucking photo, Tristan.
Relishing this for 30 fucking seconds. Why not? You know you're all... Okay. Everybody look at the lens. Are you ready? Yeah. You're the only person not. Why don't you just get up on stage? Go to Kevin. Touch Kevin more. Good. Okay, great. You're all doing great. You're doing great. I'm gonna make sure that this is okay. Listen, I want you to do one thing. Kid with microphone. What's your name? Ichiro.
Hey, Ichi in the house. Drop. Boots. Thank you, Tristan. All right, let's do the Dave Q&A. Thank you guys for playing along.
I love you. I'm so proud of you each. So proud of you.
I feel like this is a bit of a special moment. That's why I want to do that.
Huh? Let's go to.
No, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna reclaim our seats. We're gonna do 10 minutes of Q&A, and then we're gonna GTFO.
Professor Boopy Badge. Boopy Badge. Boopy Badge. Boopy.
We can make this a bit of a punk rock Q&A. If you got a question for David, come find me right over here as you guys are finding your seats, or wave at me. Who wants to talk to David? Yep, Zoe. Hey, David. Ichi.
James. Great, man. Yeah. Awesome, man. Thank you. I hope it was.
I found you outside, but you had a big issue with me.
Yeah, it was a bit much.
All right.
Okay.
Come grab me when you're ready.
Check it out. Here we go. David, this is my friend Zoe.
Dave, thank you. I noticed that you, Dave, I noticed that you won first place in the science fair in grade 5. Oh, 3 times. Great. I'm wondering, do you happen to remember back to that project, and during the process of that project, what surprised you?
You'll be amazed to know that there's comprehensive blog posts about all 3 of those. 4th grade was trolley transit, which presaged the ALRT, which became known as the SkyTrain. Grade 5 was the King Tut. I was going to go to regionals, but there was a teacher's strike. I'm still angry about it. Where's the guy that was setting up the GoFundMe page? He'll like that. 6 was about grade 6 was about Rubik's Cubes and puzzles like that, which were like a big deal at the time. And 7 was about guided missiles. That was a very newsworthy topic, yeah. Yep, yeah, that's my illustrious career. I have 2 brothers who are engineers, and I say my achievements are on par with them, but they disagree.
Yo, bro, that was a little bit of chaos tonight. But one of the community announcements that I didn't get to give was Andrea Mills here. And she works for the Internet Archive Canada.
Yes.
And they've been a sweet partner of ours or whatever. And we're about to drop a fellowship on the world tonight. Actually, it's open. People can apply. Martin Montero, yeah. Anyway,
He's off to do webcam.
Yeah. We're doing a, why don't you say a thing? Dude, David, the thing you said about archives tonight was amazing, bro.
So
I want the recording.
I'm a super fan. I have a massive archive of stuff, and I've been evangelizing forever and sending my little $5 and that kind of stuff. So I have huge admiration for the work that you did. I was going to go down more into a rabbit hole of this and that, but telegrams and whatever, no one ever talks about them. So thank you for your hard work.
We're kindred spirits. I mean, that you're, telegrams and all.
Well,
but I just wanted to say thank you. For someone like me, I've worked for the Internet Archive for 20 years, and coming to a night like this, to be here, hear your story, was really reviving for me.
Thank you.
And I will bother you about theses and what we're doing with AI and theses. So I feel like I've made a new friend and I will bother you. So thank you so much for
I live
this.
in Japan, so what I do is I give you my card with both hands, and it's like a very formal exchange. And you look at it as though it's like, oh my gosh, I've never felt paper that exquisite before.
This is exquisite. Thank you so much. And one thing I was going to say is, we've been collecting the Internet Archive for years, and it stands on the shoulders of the Library of Alexandria and many, many other archives and libraries. But what you were saying about, AI, the age of AI, we've made these collections, and now, let's make the robots work for us. Make these collections better. And it was just really bouncing off of what Kris and I have been working on. So I've gotten to know this community a little bit over the last year, come to a few sessions, I made you all listen to me. And we have a fellowship idea that came from conversations that Kris and I about using the Internet Archive government data to make something. Using AI. So that's what Kris and I are just burned out on all kinds of other things. And we forgot about this whole thing that we worked on a lot.
Yeah, so it's alive on the BCA AI website right now. You can check out the $5,000 fellowship that we're going to run over the next month. Hey, thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much. Hit that
right
code.
here. It's real for the first time. You can submit your idea. We're going to give away $5,000 to somebody to build something on top of the archives like David's been doing. You should check out this thing.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Well, as soon as I get home from the trip, I go right into the hospital. So I'm just gonna wait for someone else to do it awesome, and then I'll like cheer them along and send postcards, say good job, Mr. Fun. Sorry, say it again. No. No, I'm strictly hot tubs now.
Okay.
Solid plan.
I want to thank you all for being a part of something fun for me and pretty awesome. David, I hope you had a great time. You're amazing, man. Like,
Kris, I want to thank you for inviting me and dragging me into this. And I also brought a present for Museum of Vancouver.
Lorraine, are you still here?
So I'm hoping that can somehow end up in their archive rather than their recycling. But it's made with love and affection and gratitude. This place means a lot.
This is for the archives?
Yeah, that's for Museum of Vancouver. That's or if they don't want it,
I'll make sure it gets in the right hands. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. It's a very free-flowing experiment. Welcome to my laboratory. Tonight, that means we got a GTFO. And there's a few things we got to do before we do. You have to pick up after your neighbor. Kush, get your ass up here for a second. Kush, we got to clean up before we get out, all right? Am I cleaning up? No. No. You're coming under my arm over here, man. Kush is going to like rock the mic. This guy's like a rapper and an MC. He talks about open source software. He talks about what's going on in the world. And so we got about 12 minutes to grab our shit and go. Except for you and you in the back. But I'd appreciate if everybody else grabbed a drink from the cooler in the back and stepped out front onto the, and that's where we'll all be. Dave's gonna come there. Did you guys have a good time tonight? Oh yeah, cookies.
I heard that the cookies are really the main reason to come here. So
okay. But
I've
this
been
is
a
like
good
a
boy,
trust-based situation. So there's cookies in the room. Eliza and Noah made 200 cookies. They laid them all out on the table where we were having food and drinks earlier, but just don't stay too long. Grab some cookies and go. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. This is amazing.
Thank you so much, everybody. Keep your handouts. There will be wise advice that you can meditate on in the future at the gift shop in Bali.
Hey, Wizard, don't turn off the mic.
What am I doing here?
Hey, Kush, if you want to just like listen to some open source ranting about what's going on in the world from my best friend Kush right here.
Sure. I guess the people who are here, who here has been following the news about the absolute exposing of Anthropic and OpenAI to be the ridiculous evil that they are? Has anyone been doing this? Yes, I see some hands. Right? I just want to celebrate that. I just want to celebrate that people are finally seeing the hollowness of Silicon Valley for what it is, right? I've been bugging Kris about it, and now I get to bug you guys about it. Because I've been losing my shit about how people have been giving these people credit. And China has been the one, the people in China, the scientists in China have been the ones to actually beautifully do all this research for the last while. And so I don't know, I guess let's just celebrate the beautiful people who are contributing to this field and with the love of it, for the love of it. And I don't know, I have nothing better to say, but love. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Kevin.
End wrap.